underway and make money.
Defending Super Bowl champs for the third time in their franchise history, and we've got it for you. We'll be talking about it all day today. We've been talking about it since 6 o'clock this morning yesterday, and it is the 37-hour pregame that continues to roll along for another, 9 hours or so. It's brought to you by Quad Power Products. Call them at 816-965-8925 or online at quadfluidpower.com. Quad Power products. Also, Bob Allen Ford. All Fords are created equal. It's your dealer that makes the difference. And the University of Kansas Health System, the official healthcare provider of the Chiefs, as well as thousands of middle school, high school, and college athletes in the Kansas City area. If you have a sports injury, why would you go anywhere else? Learn more at kansashealthsystem.com/sportsmedicine. Our location today for the next 4 hours, if you want to come by, say hi, shake hands with Josh Briscoe, say hi to the Drake, get an autograph from Josh Briscoe. He has 8x10 glossy photos that he is autographing today. It is only $10 a piece for those.
3 for $25.
$3.
Makes a great holiday gift.
$3 will give you 25 pictures.
That's exactly right.
For Josh Briscoe.
You're welcome, America.
We are at InTrust Bank today, and we are at the Prairie Village location. So Somerset and Mission is where we are, just around the corner from the CVS that's there on the corner. So we are at InTrust Bank today. Nate Bukaty will be live from 11 to 1 at the Olathe InTrust location. So you can choose to see Nate, or you can choose to have some fun here for the next 4 hours with us. At 11 o'clock, they will be starting some free food. That's what we're here celebrating, is free food.
Always.
Also, InTrust Bank in general, they are inviting you to a free lunch on this Red Thursday, celebrating the Chiefs' regular season home opener coming up tonight, starting at 11 o'clock. They'll have great food. You can meet the friendly staff. You can enter to win game day giveaways at the community appreciation event going on. So head on down here, over here, up here, whichever location you are at. InTrust Bank, located south of K10 in Ridgeview and Olathe, and just north of Corinth Square in Prairie Village. Again, Somerset and Mission, just on the west side of Mission. And Somerset is where we are located today. You'll see the sign. You'll see a bunch of people out front. You'll see some tents. You'll see the friendly staff. And if you come inside and say hi, you can see Josh Briscoe, who is wearing pants right now. But as of 7:20 tonight, I don't know if there are any promises made.
Nobody can see under the desk during the post-game show, Jason.
Good point.
I've often said that, and that's the energy I try to bring, especially for a primetime game.
I get it.
Pants off, post-game on. That's what I say.
Yep. There's your update for the post-game show tonight.
there's your promo right there. Sports Radio 10 WHB post-game show featuring pants questionable tonight, just like Travis Kelce.
I'm assuming because they will be at work throughout the day that the program and the fellas there will be fully clothed. But at 5 o'clock, Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show will start right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB with the fellas, Soren Petro, Curtis Siebold, Mark Borichter, Adam Dravetta, part of the pregame show right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB at 5 o'clock. And again, around 10:30 or so, whenever the game wraps up, it'll be postgame with Josh Briscoe. And we will find out if the Chiefs are 1-0. We'll find out if they are 0-1. He will have all of the takeaways and the reaction. We'll have sound from the locker room and from the podium of Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes and others. We'll see. Hopefully there is a Chiefs player that has a podium game tonight. That would be awesome. That would certainly help in terms of them winning the game tonight without Chris Jones out there. We know that will be a fact now, as Anthony Sherman this morning on the Border Patrol saying that Chris Jones, he is being told Chris Jones will be in attendance tonight at the Chiefs game. He will be in the building. He will be in civilian clothes, not Army fatigues, or his full-on suit of armor. He will be in civilian clothes and most likely in a suite of some sort. Now, is that a suite that Clark Hunt sits in? Is that a suite that Brett Veach sits in? Is that just a suite that the Katz brothers have purchased because of their commission, the hefty commission that they will get once he signs on the dotted line? I don't know, but I am guessing, I'm going to take a guess here, that there will be a few shots of Chris Jones and wherever he is sitting that NBC will find that tonight. Somewhere, wherever he is, even if he's hiding. Unless he's wearing the Where's Waldo clothes, that'll be easy to see.
Should help.
Because he's a big man.
I think I'll take the over on 2.5. If you give me pregame, I think we get over 1.5. Either a big Chiefs defensive play goes to Chris Jones, see the reaction, or Jared Goff with 6 seconds in the pocket, Amon-Ra St. Brown touchdown. Hey, there's Chris Jones. Interesting. Wonder what he's feeling like. I bet we're going to see him up there today.
So we will talk about that. We will get into those things, but we will also talk a lot about the game. coming up tonight. At 11 o'clock, we will hang out with Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast, get his thoughts on the game, breakdown of the game, matchups he's looking forward to. We'll also get a season prediction, what he thinks the Chiefs will be, what the record will be, and who wins the Super Bowl, etc. We'll talk with Kent Swanson about those things. Coming up at noon, we will talk with Mike Golic Jr. They call him Gojo.
Gojo, baby.
We will talk with Mike Golic Jr., and he will join us at noon. He has a show with his father. The Golics have teamed up finally, Golic and Gojo. But the Golic family has teamed up, and they are hosting a show on the DraftKings Network and Samsung TV Plus. And so we'll talk with Mike Golic Jr. coming up at noon about the NFL season, Chiefs, what he expects tonight, what he expects from the Chiefs this season, without Chris Jones, all of those things. We'll be hanging out with Mike Golic Jr. and then having a little fun coming up in the 1 o'clock hour with some sports or leisure. $25. It is presented by Johnny's Tavern. It will be all Chiefs, all day, all Chiefs during this 37-hour pregame show. And I am very excited that it is not still 37 hours till the kickoff. We are right at about 9 hours, 6 minutes. 9 hours, 6 minutes, and counting.
But who's counting?
I am not right now. I'm just looking at the clock specifically.
9 hours and 5.5 minutes.
There it is. There it was, folks. There it is. Voter fraud. We got it right there. That is from Black Sheep.
That one I could tell it was a reference, and I had no hope of ferreting that one out.
It's a perfectly reasonable explanation.
Hey, 9 hours and 5 minutes.
She put us up to it. All right, 913-912-4810 is the text line to be a part of the show. 913-912-4810 text line. Again, we're hanging out at InTrust Bank. It is the Prairie Village location starting at 11 o'clock. They will have some free food. If you come by, stop by, hang out, say hi, whatever it is, they'll give you some free food even if you don't do that. But that would be nice. We're friendly people here in the Midwest and in Kansas City. So they've got their very friendly staff here. And you can enter to win game day giveaways. So if you're going to stop by, get some lunch, might as well enter to win some goodies while you are here, while enjoying the goodies that are there for the lunch. So 913-912-4810, 913-912-4810. Do we start with the Chris Jones story this morning, or do we start with the breakdown of the game and Kelce, no Kelce, what the impact there is? He is deemed officially questionable for tonight. It'll be a game time decision. They're going through all of the stuff today. I believe that Travis Kelce, because of who he is, will take it right up until game time to see if he can play. He will be going through rehab, trying to get the swelling down, whatever might be happening throughout the day. And even if right now they're like, it's questionable, we'll check again at 3. It's questionable, we'll check again at 6 o'clock. He will take it right to the point of where it's like, okay, there's just nothing you can do, man. We're not going to play it tonight. So do we start with the Chris Jones report, or do we start with the game, Josh?
I know people have Chris Jones fatigue. I think talking about Chris Jones in light of the game is something we're going to be doing a ton today.
Yeah, because that's not Chris Jones' holdout or contract.
Right.
That's how do the Chiefs overcome number 95 not being there?
How do the Chiefs deal with the fact that their best defender by a wide margin isn't going to be on the field tonight?
Right.
So I think we ought to start with the status of Travis Kelce and how that makes us feel. And then we'll warn people that we're going to circle back on Chris Jones here later this hour because it's important. But I understand it's game day, baby. And we've known for a little while now in all likelihood that Chris Jones wasn't going to be out there today. Travis Kelce's knee issue is still pretty fresh for me. I'm still going through several stages of the grief. I'm in bargaining right now, I think. I'll go ahead and say no worries about Kelce tonight. Hey, man, take your time. We'll see you against the Jags. I think I'm bargaining. I don't think I've accepted anything yet.
I have moved down from DEFCON 2 that I was at when Andy Reid said that there was a hyperextension of the knee and he's being checked out. We'll see how it goes. I was not at DEFCON 1 because that would be if it was a much more serious injury. But I have fallen back to DEFCON 3 when it's just a bone bruise. But as far as tonight, so without Chris Jones, I'm going to guess without Travis Kelce, we'll see. I don't even know if I want to be pleasantly surprised, to be honest with you. We talked about that. Like, I don't even know how I feel. Like, I do believe that if he's out there, the Chiefs believe he cannot make that worse. It is a pain tolerance. They feel like he's fine, and it won't impact week 2, 3, 4, and it won't be something chronic that they'll have to deal with throughout the season. if he's out there, the Chiefs have given the full sign-off. He's good to go, the trainers. But I wonder how much Travis Kelce will keep himself from being dishonest about the pain level because it's game number 1, because he's waited this long, and because it's prime time, baby. He loves prime. Last night in America's Game on NFL Network, when they went through last season, being narrated by Paul Rudd, that's a surprise. But told through the words of Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones last night. It was fascinating. And Travis Kelce talked about specifically how much primetime means to him. I was thinking about that watching it, and he was like, primetime. I mean, it's what you're made for. And it was I think it was the Raiders game when he had 4 touchdowns. He was talking about primetime. It's primetime, man. You get ready. It's the NFL. It's what it's all about, and just something even more that's in your body about it. This is primetime, that it just gets me to another level. And I'm watching that, and I'm going, man, they're going to have to protect him from himself. If that's also that added element of primetime game number 1. He's been in the league for almost 12 years. Mm-hmm. I would hope that at this point the bigger picture is still there with Travis Kelce. The question would also be, does he see the light at the end of the tunnel for his career and say, I'm not missing any opportunity to go out there and be Travis Kelce on the field because I don't know when it's over?
The really upsetting glass half empty, glass half shattered sort of thing that just crossed my mind as you said the phrase, the Chiefs aren't going to send him out there if there's any chance it's going to get worse, which I agree with. It would be literal malpractice, I think. I think literal malpractice. The alternative of what I hear ringing in my head at that point is, hey, Trev, this is going to be barking at you all year. Kind of whatever you feel like is fine, but we're going to get the swelling down, but this is going to be something that you're going to keep using your knees all year long. This is just going to be aggravating all year. I don't know that that's going to happen. I don't know that that's the diagnosis, and I don't know that, look, getting that swelling down is obviously the most important thing. It's what Jason Kelce said in that audio we played yesterday, and I feel like it's what Andy Reid says in every knee-based injury update is, well, we're just trying to get to calm down a little bit, trying to get the swelling down and all of that. The Chiefs and Travis Kelce both share a responsibility here to make sure that he is still Travis Kelce in December. That has to be even more important than playing not just the home opener, but the NFL season kickoff, prime time, and like you said, prime time in a lot of ways is where the stars are made, even still in the NFL. Even though we can see almost any game across the Red Zone channel, and even with Twitter highlights, they're going to still make Bijan Robinson a household name by the end of this year, even though I don't think the Falcons have a primetime game. I think that maybe it's their Thursday one. I can't remember. But point being, Travis Kelce literally got to primetime. He hosted Saturday Night Live. It is the quintessential primetime event. And I think that's real math that you're doing that makes sense.
Thanks.
It just cannot come in any way whatsoever at the cost of how he feels in Week 8, because the long-term view is still more important than what they do against the Lions tonight.
Tom Pelissero had a report this morning, said the Chiefs plan to put star tight end Travis Kelce through a workout this morning to test his injured knee. Per source, just 2 days after hyperextending the knee and suffering a bone bruise in practice, Kelce is a true game day decision for tonight's opener versus the Lions. I appreciate the report, but also did anybody think they weren't going to put him through a workout to see how the knee was?
No.
Did anybody think he was just going to just hang out at home just throughout the day and just show up at like 5 o'clock? It's like, let's see how it goes. Let's give it the old college try. So I appreciate the update, and we'll see what may be the results of that quote unquote test, what the morning test is on his injured knee. But a test this morning. I don't know if that means he will or will not play based on the results of said test. It might just give him an idea of how likely, so that the Chiefs coaching staff can start to prepare of, do we need to call up Matt Bushman? Do we need to have 7 wide receivers active? Because that's the next step of this conversation around Kelce, is if he does not play, how do they go about roster construction for tonight? Do they bring Matt Bushman up and activate him? Or do they just simply go 7 wide receivers and go into the game with Bell and Noah Gray, and you've got essentially one receiving tight end and 7 receivers out there that 3 of them are probably more package players than your traditional, this is just a wide receiver out there. So you'd have 4 of the, hey, this is a wide receiver, 3 package players, and essentially Noah Gray and Blake Bell there to help block.
And so with that in mind, I think they almost have to call Bushman up. But the issue then becomes if Kelsey is good enough to be healthy or healthy enough to be active, now you're probably still making Bushman an inactive, which happened a couple times last year where they had a practice squad elevation who just got burned right away. Like they activated but didn't make him active for the game. Elevated, I should say. Elevated but not activated. So I think regardless, the Chiefs are going to have to prepare with all their options open. I thought the 2 other reports from this morning, one from Ed Werder and one from, let me check my notes, Clark Hunt. That one was weird. But Ed Werder tweeting this morning, from what I've been, the chairman and CEO. I don't.
Okay.
Maybe he puts the chairs out.
Okay, great.
From what I've been told, this is from Ed Werder. From what I've been told, the outlook for Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce isn't great for him playing tonight against the Lions, but expectations are that he will push to play. That will leave Andy Reid to decide, knowing Kelce is badly needed, but recognizing long season ahead. That, I think editorializing or just an obvious guess, but expectations are that he will push to play does mean that eventually Andy Reid's either going to tell Travis Kelce, no, sit down and you can make your debut at noon against the Jags, which is not the same. But you can either wait that out and see where we end up, or here's the other thing, man. What if Travis Kelce is saying, listen, I've played through a lot of bleep for a lot of years. My knee is, as I said a second ago, and Andy says all the time, my knee's barking at me. It's acting. I get it. We've got some swelling, and I'm going to feel a little different. But I'm going to be fine. I'm going to still play like myself, and I'm going to grit through it all. That seems just as likely to me as being properly cautious and saying, don't worry about it. We're going to make sure your long-term future is good. I really feel like it's a coin flip right now.
Here's what I do know moving forward for this whole thing is that the last 10 minutes of practice, Travis Kelce go to the sideline. Because the AFC Championship game, the second to last play is when he hurt his back.
Yeah.
This is 2 out of 3 practices now before a game. 2 out of 3 final practices before a game. Travis Kelce has been hurt to the point to where he may not play in that game in the last 10 minutes. The Bengals and now the Lions. The last 10 minutes of practice, Travis, get your ass on the sideline.
No more red zone work for Travis Kelce in practice, ever. You're good enough. You can
I don't
do it in
think
the game.
he even needs to work on those Friday practices.
Yeah, take Fridays off.
Anymore. Hurts his back in the second to last play against the in practice, getting ready for the Bengals in the AFC Championship game, and hyperextends his knee in the final 10 minutes of practice doing red zone work in the couple days ago, getting ready for week number 1 of the season. So Travis Kelce, bubble wrap on those Friday practices. That's the takeaway here.
His walkthrough needs to be way more literal. It just needs to. Kelsey gets a walker through. He has a walker. He has to hold it.
He just segues through.
I don't know, man. What if you lose your wheels there all of a sudden now?
He's on a rascal.
That's better. I like that a lot. I like that.
Drake says virtual reality.
Put him in a VR. I like that too. That way you can just stay seated. Keep your posture good, and then go ahead, put that headset on, catch some touchdowns, shoot some zombies. You're good.
What do you think the future in like 40 years when it's all VR?
Yeah.
And then the players, you get like Mahomes who's still going to be playing, but it's just a VR Patrick Mahomes, and he's sort of going through the thing. But then in the game, he hurts his leg so that he has to be out, even though he's perfectly healthy.
Yeah.
But his VR avatar player is now out for a while, and there's nothing you can do, even though right there he's walking just fine. That's going to be an interesting dynamic in about 30, 40 years of how they play football.
Honey, I'm in a video game. Sort of. It's real life also. Anyway, I'm the independent neurologist in VR. I've made it. All my work in VR med school finally paid off.
I do believe Patrick Mahomes would be the quarterback that they would create in an AI VR game to be the what will quarterbacking look like in 30 years?
You would get mad at your friend for using him in a game. You can't use a creative player, man. You maxed out all his stats. That's not right.
If Patrick Mahomes was in the Madden game in the early 2000s, his name would be Jason Anderson because I would have created him.
That's exactly right. Weirdly, it also would have been what I would have named him in Madden 08, but I didn't know you then.
Well, just so people didn't think I created him, it would have actually been James Anderson.
Ooh, that's good. Throw
Just in
people
case.
off the trail.
That's right.
I like that a lot.
We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling again. Coming up at 11 o'clock, we've got Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network. We are hanging out at Intrust Bank, inviting you to a free lunch on Red Thursday, celebrating the Chiefs' regular season home opener. We are at the Prairie Village location today, Somerset and Mission, just on the west side of Mission. 11 o'clock is when some food will start happening, and you can also come out, sign up for these great game day giveaways at this community appreciation event. You can meet the friendly staff. We are here till 2, and Nate Bukaty will be at the Olathe location from 11 to 1. That is south of K10 and Ridgeview in Olathe. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling. More Zone right after this.
Want to see more of The Zone? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Josh Briscoe. We head up until 2 o'clock. We are hanging out at InTrust Bank, inviting you to a free lunch on this Red Thursday, celebrating the Chiefs' regular season home opener. Our location is the Prairie Village InTrust Bank, starting at 11 o'clock. They will have some food here until 1 o'clock, and you can also come down and register and sign up for some great game day giveaways that are going on down here. Great food, meet the great friendly staff, some of these great game day giveaways. We are located the Prairie Village spot. Nate P. Katie is in Olathe from 11 to 1. 913-912-4810. 913-912-4810. One of the other elements of Travis Kelce tonight, playing or not playing, is – and this was brought up by Anthony Sherman and Garrick Dieter, and it was it's kind of funny. It ended up being funny, but it was a real point by Anthony Sherman, and that against the Rams in 2018, Sammy Watkins was injured most of the week, and he was a game-time decision, and Sammy Watkins decided he was good to go. He played 5 snaps and had to take himself out of the game and was not in the game the rest of the time. Now, it turned out Garrick Dieter was going to be the activated player that day if Sammy Watkins could not go. So Garrick Dieter was rightfully pissed that he was not activated game day because they had a little bit of a better check. But also, they activated 5 wide receivers. Sammy Watkins plays 5 snaps. That's a game where they scored 50 points. There were 72 plays. The Chiefs had 4 wide receivers.
It's unbelievable.
But Marcus Kemp only played 3 snaps on offense. That means the Chiefs had 3 wide receivers active that day. And Anthony Sherman was talking about how winded those guys were, how tired they were. You want to talk about the stamina that Tyreek Hill has. I mean, how many yards and touchdowns and everything did everybody on that field have that day? And they had 2 tight ends and 3 wide receivers that are essentially playing. It was Travis Kelce, Demetrius Harris, Tyreek Hill, Chris Conley, and Demarcus Robinson. Wow. Those were the targets for Patrick Mahomes on a day when he threw for roughly 1,500 yards.
That seems low.
478 yards and 6 touchdowns in that game. Now 3 interceptions, but 478 yards and 6 touchdowns with Kelce, Demetrius Harris, Tyreek Hill, Chris Conley, and Demarcus Robinson because Marcus Kemp was a special teamer and Sammy Watkins played 5 snaps on the opening drive and said, I can't go anymore. Now, I doubt Travis Kelce will put his team in that position because that's incredibly selfish by Sammy Watkins. Monday night, big game, I'm out here. No, I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to try. Well, he put his team at a disadvantage because Garrick Dieter could have been up. He could have helped out. He could have, spelled a few of those players and out there running routes and made a difference in some way. I can't imagine there's a chance that Travis Kelce will go, boy, I don't know. Let me just see how. Let me give it a shot. Activate me and let me give it a shot. And then plays 1 possession. It's like, okay, yeah, the knee isn't responding. Sorry, guys. That would make no sense whatsoever. And Anthony Sherman said the reason most players were upset that Sammy Watkins said I'm good to go. He said watching warm-ups he was not good to go. You could tell in warm-ups that he was struggling, and yet he still said I want to go and play. And he played 5 snaps, and that was it. So if Travis Kelce's out there struggling like that, I don't think Travis Kelce would do that.
I think you're right. The little bit I could kind of argue on either side, one is that it's even more important because I just don't think they can. They may have to, but I don't think they will by choice play this game with 2 tight ends. Like whatever, and maybe they call it Matt Bushman, and he only plays 5 snaps. But you need to have the option to. They played a lot of 13 last year. Obviously, that Matt Bushman in for Travis Kelce changes the formation beyond just the numbers. Obviously, so don't hear me correlate those 2 guys too closely. But they played a lot of 13 last year. And what happens if Blake Bell or Noah Gray gets banged up in the first drive? I mean, now you are running with a skeleton crew on offense. So that's one side of. They have to have, I think, 3 active tight ends who they expect to be at least able to play a large workload. The other side is that Travis Kelce plays a position that nobody else really does play for the Chiefs. It's because it is that big-bodied receiver, hybrid tight end that can do all these other things. He is such a joker. Like, he is such a unique piece that I would be more willing to give him the 5 game reps to figure it out. But we are also, again, we're talking about a roster right now that has no injury scratches. No one's going to be inactive tonight due to injury other than perhaps Travis Kelce. And so you start cutting down from some spots that you may have to sacrifice some depth. Maybe it's your last rotational defensive lineman would have been. Maybe that guy's inactive to get Travis Kelce out there. Maybe they activate 4 tight ends, and they say, we don't know what Bushman can accomplish, and we don't know how much Kelce can do. But it is some complicated math.
Yeah. And so we'll see. But here's the thing. The game plan and install has been there for a while for the Lions, and that was with Travis Kelce expected to play. So if they had 13 personnel or a lot of 12 personnel, and Kelce was obviously expected to be a part of that, and now if he does not play, are you going to go to a lot of that 13 personnel and put Matt Bushman in the game just because, well, we're running what we're running? Do you start to make adjustments in all of the walkthrough and all of the game planning and the schemes and the scout team of what you expect the Lions to do when you're out there in 13 or sometimes 12? If you don't activate Matt Bushman and you go with Noah Gray and Blake Bell and you run some of that 12, that 2 tight end set, and then one of those guys goes down, now you're sitting in 1 tight end formations that is probably not a big part of the what was going to be a big part of the game plan for the Chiefs. So now you're adjusting everything on the fly, and so you kind of wonder if Andy Reid was like, all right, I'm already adjusting my entire game plan here with Travis Kelce. We're going to stick with that without Travis Kelce. I should say I'm adjusting these things, and maybe that's just what we go with. Or he's got plan A, plan B. Here's what we're going to do without Travis Kelce. If we know we can't go, boom, here's what we're doing. Patrick, come on in here. Here's what's going to be in the playbook. Here's what we're taking out, some of the things that we worked on that's not going to work without Kelce in there. It's an amazing coaching staff. He's one of the best coaches that ever lived, and Patrick Mahomes is a unicorn, created by an alien.
Yep.
In a lab.
In an alien lab.
Yes.
A lab in space.
Yeah, in AI with VR. I think they could figure out Kelce's not going to be able to go, okay, great, we've already put together plan B.
And with that in mind, I feel like I've been playing kind of the concerned citizen through most of the last 24 hours or whatever since the Kelce injury. But if you want to get excited about something, it's still Patrick Mahomes. Mm-hmm. We've seen him, as we gave that stat line of what it was, that COVID game against the Steelers where Derek Gore and Byron Pringle or whoever were the leading receivers. We've seen that game, but with that being the one outlier, we've never seen Patrick Mahomes with just a first team full of wide receivers. We actually haven't really seen that iteration of the Chiefs offense. We've asked and wondered now for a while, what is a post Travis Kelce Chiefs offense going to look like? Well, this offense now, for its lack of a true number one, has a lot of wide receivers who are NFL caliber, NFL quality, deserving to be on an NFL football field. So now all of a sudden it's, all right, we are going to stress out your defense deep this time. Yeah. I told you I like the MVS over 70 yards as like a kind of a long shot prop bet kind of thing. That was pre-Kelce injury, right? I was optimistic about what he might be able to do against this Lions defense, and can you test this secondary down the field a little bit? Well, if Travis Kelce's not there to be the guy that just has a total mastery of reading zones and the side adjustments and all of that, Mahomes is going to have receivers running routes where he just needs to know where they're going, and maybe you see an aggressive, weird offense by Chiefs standards if Kelce isn't out there. And I still think the Andy Reid-Patrick Mahomes combo with a bunch of like good receivers, if no true number one, I still think that's a group that scores 30-plus points.
Do they lean heavily on 12 personnel with Blake Bell and run the football with the offensive line?
Sure. And
Pacheco and McKinnon and Clyde Edwards-Helaire and whoever. Does that mean LaMichael Pirine is activated tonight if Kelce can't go, if they plan on having more of a running game just in case? We'll see. We'll find out all of those things. But it's going to be fascinating to watch and see how they are going to adjust. And if it's just going to be Noah Gray out there, and if the Chiefs entrust him with the Kelce plays.
You take that to the bank.
We are hanging out at Intrust Bank. It is the Prairie Village location coming up at 11 o'clock. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Tip your bar and wait staff.
Actually, I'm willing to be here till 2.
Oh.
So even more reason to get out here now.
Yeah, that's right. So tip your bar and wait staff. Because at 2 o'clock we're gone. You can come out of here, enjoy great food, meet the friendly staff, enter to win game day giveaways. Prairie Village location where we are at Intrust Bank, just west of Mission and Somerset. just on the west side of Mission is where Intrust is. You'll see the tents and the food's going to be out there. We are here until 2 o'clock. We will take a timeout. We'll come back, continue rolling. We'll talk with Kent Swanson coming up at 11 o'clock from KC Sports Network. Mike Golick Jr. at noon. A little sports or leisure before the show is over. More Zone next.
You're in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
912-408-10. I don't know that I'm surprised, but I find it to be interesting, the reaction on social media of the news that Chris Jones will be in attendance tonight, will be in the building. He will be in street clothes. He will not be playing. Not sure where he will be. I'm guessing in some sort of a suite. I don't know that he went and bought tickets for the game.
That would be wild, though.
I don't-
Put up in Jordan Love's mom's seat.
Oh, boy, that would be amazing. I don't know if he was given a sideline pass or anything like that. One person on Twitter said, interesting strategy to give up $1.1 million to watch a game you could be watching for free.
That's an expensive suite.
That's a really expensive ticket. You think your ticket is expensive? No matter what you pay for at Tickets for Less, you are not paying more than what Chris Jones is to be in the building to watch that game. I promise you that.
That's an amazing point. Could have been there for free.
Yeah, the reaction has been demonstrably negative towards Chris Jones.
Yeah, I don't think yesterday helped.
Yesterday did not help, and the fact that he is holding out but will still be at the game while not helping his teammates out there, which I guess is still not letting his teammates down, while continuing to hold out. It's a rough look for Chris Jones. Unless it's a good sign that he's sitting next to to Frank Clark, or excuse me, to Clark Hunt.
That would make sense.
All of the Clarks. Maybe that's an indication of something getting done. Still means he ain't playing tonight.
37 Hours of Chiefs Pregame is presented by Quad Power Products, by Bob Allen Ford, and by the University of Kansas Health System.
Hey guys, Matt Coker here from West Coast Men's Health to let you know that you don't have to take Viagra for the rest of your life. Acoustic wave therapy has changed the game. Trust me, I've seen guys come in who have completely given up, only to see them back in the game after going through our treatment program. So call West Coast Men's Health today.
Call 913-243-3200. That's 913-243-3200. 913-243-3200. Online at westcoastmenshealth.com.
Daniels will keep, and he will waltz in behind the left tackle. It's a touchdown. Jalen Daniels.
Kansas football fans, the Jayhawks are home again on September 8th. Join us as the Jayhawks take on Illinois on Friday, September 8th at 6:30 p.m. in David Booth, Kansas Memorial Stadium. Come early to join in on all the fun with the Family Zone and entertainment on the hill before the game. Visit KUathletics.com or call 834-HAWKS to secure your tickets today.
Joe Spiker, owner of Easton Roofing here. Well, it stormed. Now you're stuck with dozens of people knocking on your door telling you everything they think you want to hear. Do not trust your biggest asset to a company that lies dormant until it storms, only to change their name and wither away after their substandard work is complete. Call Easton Roofing for a free roof evaluation. 913-257-5426. 913-257-5426. Easton Roofing. Integrity matters.
The best Thursday of the year is coming up, and it's all about NFL opening night. Football is back, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is hooking new customers up with a can't-miss offer to celebrate. Place your first $5 NFL bet and score $200 in bonus bets instantly. DraftKings is hooking everyone up with game day greatness. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. Check the app to see what you get. Don't wait till kickoff to get in on the hype. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code 810WHB. New customers get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. That's code 810WHB only at DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus. Physically present in Kansas. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Terms at sportsbook.draftkings.com/football terms on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort.
All right, team. Apps on the table by 7:30 sharp.
Jalen and his catering company have a lot on their plate.
Really particular.
He needs a bigger team to continue climbing up the food chain.
Throughout this event, Hey, Mitch, was that a contract for 200 or 250 people?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates, and you can schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from the Indeed dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Now more than ever, if you own or operate a medical facility, you need Walker Medical Linen Service. They provide everything your medical facility needs. A Kansas City-based company, Walker Medical Linen Services works with large hospital groups, surgery centers, medical clinics, and one-of-a-kind specialty medical spas. They supply linens, toweling, scrubs, lab coats, and patient gowns. Their processing facility is HLAC certified, the highest accreditation for a medical laundry. If you're looking to upgrade your current medical linen service, go to WalkerMLS.com.
You know the place that puts a smile on your face. Andy's is the one. Frozen custard fun. At Andy's Frozen Custard, they're off to the races with their newest treat, Cannoli Thunder. This Italian stallion of flavor is made with Andy's vanilla frozen custard, crispy cannoli shells, sweet cream filling, and chocolate chips, hitting the pavement just in time for the Andy's 300. Turning left never tasted so right. So speed into Andy's and top your day with a smile.
Save money on your utility bills with a geothermal heating and cooling system. Find out more at ecsgeothermal.com. Heating and cooling with dirt for over 30 years. ecsgeothermal.com.
Kansas City's favorite sports station, 20 years and counting. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
And now, on Sports Radio 810 Sports Center.
The University of St. Mary offers a range of flexible online bachelor's programs. Learn more during a virtual info session on September 7th. That's tonight. Register at stmary.edu/RSVP. The status of Travis Kelce remains up in the air for tonight's NFL season kickoff between the Chiefs and the Detroit Lions. Clark Hunt said today on Good Morning Football, quote, "We hope that he'll be able to go tonight. He'll be a game-time decision, but he's somebody who loves to compete, so I wouldn't bet against him being on the field tonight." The Chiefs reportedly plan to put Kelce through some morning workouts today to figure out where that knee stands and then to take it all the way through pregame if necessary. Meanwhile, for Chris Jones, we know he's not playing tonight, but Anthony Sherman said this morning right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB that he'll be in street clothes at the game. We'll talk about the game itself and what happens after with Kent Swanson, the KC Sports Network, next in The Zone. I'm Joshua Briscoe. This is SportsCenter.
The Zone is brought to you by Guaranteed Foods, official sponsor of Family Mealtime. Enjoy healthier food, more free time, free delivery, and better value. Go to GuaranteedFoods.com.
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you, Josh Briscoe, Dylan Michaels. We head up until 2 o'clock. We are hanging out at Intrust Bank Prairie Village location. We are here till 2 o'clock, starting at 11 o'clock. Hey, that's right now. They got free lunch for you on this Red Thursday, celebrating the Chiefs' regular season home opener. So you can come down here, enjoy some food, meet the friendly staff. You can enter to win game day giveaways at this community appreciation event. We are here till 2 o'clock. The food served, so you can come on down here, over here, up here, wherever you're located, and hang out. Nate Bukaty will be at the Olathe location in Trust Bank. Starting now until 1 o'clock. We're here until 2 o'clock. We're talking some Chiefs football, and we're doing that now with Kent Swanson, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast, joining us here in The Zone. Kent, what is up, man? How are you, sir?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. I'm excited to be on with you, excited to be talking about a game that's happening tonight. It's been a long off season. It's been an exhausting off season. We are finally here, gentlemen.
Yep, that's exactly right. Let's talk about the game. Have you ever asked for a raise and then didn't show up to work? Well, just ask for a raise.
You're asking me if I've ever been fired, is what it sounds like to me.
Synonymous?
Yeah, no, what a wild turn of events in the Chris Jones saga. Saw Tucker Franklin tweeting out, it's like, who would have predicted that one of the biggest turns and moments in the Chris Jones saga would have been in front of a Ronald McDonald house? What a wild 24 hours we're having right now.
And it would involve buttholes. That's amazing, man.
It's This is cinema, Jason. This is cinema.
We will move on to other things, but I do wonder. This morning, Anthony Sherman said on the Border Patrol that he's been told Chris Jones will be at the game tonight. He will be in the building. He will be in street clothes. He will not be playing. No other indications as to where he will be sitting or standing during the game, but he will be there. I tweeted that out, Kent. The reaction has been overwhelming, and it is not in favor of Chris Jones. The reaction has been very negative towards Chris Jones. What's your takeaway from that, and what do you think this is accomplishing by him continuing a holdout, not out there playing with his teammates, but deciding he still wants to go to the game and watch it?
I want to be careful because I don't want to try to character assassinate Chris Jones. I don't think it's fair to him, especially with very limited public commentary. I do think though that the idea of holding in being a distraction, as he claimed, and not wanting to be a distraction, relative to the distraction that has occurred because of his absence, and the continued distraction that would happen if he were to be in the stands, in a booth, wherever he's going to be. It's distracting. There's really no other way to kind of cut it. This whole saga is a distraction, whether he's here, whether he's not, and it's frustrating to me. Like just candidly, I think this whole thing is frustrating. I think the way it's been handled has been frustrating. I don't know if that direction is coming at Chris's request, if it's coming from his agent's request. I know that's Briscoe's favorite subject to talk about right now, but there's no other way to cut it. Chris Jones is a distraction, whether he's here or not. And some of that stuff from yesterday just did not land with me, and I'm sure it didn't land with a lot of other people.
Is there a chance this turns into a positive of some degree, looking for silver linings here, not just it all being negative, but if he's at the game that we don't know where he's sitting, maybe he's sitting with the members of the front office. Maybe this is a good sign that they are close to getting something done. Or even if he's at the game, does that play on the emotional heartstrings of the, you know what, bleep this, let's get it done, sign the contract, I need to be out there. That was torture watching that game, knowing I was healthy enough to play, but just not out there and giving up $1.1 million that, you know what, let's do the deal because I need to be out there against Jacksonville.
You know the front of the cart versus the back of the cart kind of narratives that you hear from training camp? I almost wonder if, there are something to be gleaned about where Chris Jones is sitting tonight, and if he is with the Hunt, if he's with Brett, if he's kind of in some kind of Chiefs capacity, area like that. Actually, it could be a positive indicator that they're getting closer to a deal or something like that. There could be something positive to glean from it, but largely, I don't think it is, because look, I mean, even if Chris is there and he's sitting there with the Hunt, let's say, well, there's still 53 guys that went through training camp together that need him in his services that he's failing by not being there. Candidly, it's not helping anyone. It is hurting his teammates. It is, it's hurting their money too, because, I think we've said this before, some of these guys might be trying to get paid. Well, the best version of, L'Jarius Sneed is one that has Chris Jones pressuring the quarterback. It is affecting their money. It is affecting this defense and the success of this team. So I don't know from a player perspective if there's anything positive that can be gleaned out of it. If you want to talk from a negotiation contractual standpoint, if he's with the Hunts, maybe that's a positive indicator, but for the 53 on the field, I think it's just a giant distraction.
Yeah, if he's not in the suite with the Clarks, then which, by the way, plenty of opportunities you missed there to say he'd be sitting with the Clarks. But if he's not in a suite with the Hunt family, I don't know that there's a suite that the three of them, Chris Jones and the Katz brothers, can just rent out on their own to watch the game and not have anybody else in there. My guess would be if it's not with the front office, he might be hanging out in Mahomes' family's suite. There, just hey, you got 3 extra seats in this spot. I don't know. We'll find out. Where he's sitting is a good point. We'll find out. I do wonder how much sticker shock will be when he goes there to park in the morning and not be escorted right then and like, yeah, it's gonna be $100, buddy. What?
Maybe
do you not know who I am?
Maybe that's the straw that breaks the camel's back. You know, maybe it's like, oh, I can't afford this. I need to get in the camp.
Somebody quote tweeted, and I should look for it. It was great. Said the ticket's going to cost him $200. Parking is going to be $60. He'll probably want to drink maybe a hot dog. So now you're looking at about $300. Means that Chris Jones is going to be fined $1.1 million and $300. So he will give up that for tonight's game to be in attendance. Another tweet, quote tweet said, Chris Jones is giving up $1.1 million to watch a game he could have got in for free. At least there's some comic relief that goes along with the game. So there's some gallows humor. Let's talk about the impact on the field. Kent Swanson's our guest, KC Sports Network, KC Laboratory Podcast. How do they overcome his absence? Is this on Spags? Is it he as the defensive coordinator to figure out different ways to pressure, manipulate those things, coverages in the back end, manipulating coverages in the back end after the snap? Like, what do you think the Chiefs can do, will do, and how do they overcome or attempt to overcome his absence tonight?
I think attempt's the right word. Steve Spagnuolo, like the way Steve Spagnuolo has historically preferred his defensive personnel is he likes a bigger players playing the 1 tech and the 3 tech on early downs, being good against the run, being very stout against the run, and then playing, a bunch of lighter pass rushers, lighter relative to, to a defensive tackle that's massive because, he likes his big defensive ends. But the reason he likes his big defensive ends is, hey, let's earn the right to rush the passer with good, base defense, on first and second down. And then we're going to, kick these talented edge rushers inside. They have some inside-outside versatility. We're going to run stunts and twists and create havoc on third down. That's historically how Steve Spagnuolo has operated. And so when he came here, there was some adjustments that had to be made to accommodate the talents of Chris Jones differently. I mean, you think about it, they've experimented a lot with Chris Jones in the last few years with Steve Spagnuolo. They tried to play him permanently as an edge rusher, at times. And, they've had to accommodate his skill set, which they undeniably should. I mean, there's a reason they're paying him. They want him around, right? But there is a history of how Steve Spagnuolo has typically operated, how he's typically played. There is a playbook for how Steve Spagnuolo has kind of operated with a different type of personnel. And so he's got the defensive ends that he needs to kind of run what he needs. And he's got some interesting bodies. And I'll throw Danny Shelton in here, I think, is a logical call-up for this week. I don't know if Neil Farrell will be ready, but there's some bigger body interior players, that may help hold up against the run a little differently than they have, than this team, has at times, even with Chris Jones on the field in previous years. So I think there's a structure for him. You're going to see a lot of pressures, I think, in blitzes, and I think you're going to have to throw some trust into the second-year defensive backs. I think that's going to be a big storyline. Is, hey, let's trust these defensive backs. Let's try to send some stuff because we got to get after Jared Goff.
So we're, I say we, but it was Josh that did a great job of coining the phrase, the mullet defense. So that's what we are going with. My idea was, so you have a heavier front, so it's going to be Dana, Noddy, Coburn, maybe Shelton in there, and Karlaftis, those 4, and you've got Nick Bolton as your linebacker, so those 5 stopping the run. and then 6 defensive backs, Snead, McDuffie, Williams, Reed, Cook, Connor, all on the field. You don't know where the blitz is coming from. You got guys in coverage, but you're first and foremost those 4 guys at the defensive line and Nick Bolton stopping the run. We're calling it the mullet defense because that would be business in the front, party in the back, right? We're stopping the run, but we are going to have some fun and changing up defenses. Do you think that could be part of the strategy that you're not going to run on us, but when you pass, here we go. Let's have some fun. We're coming from everywhere. You have no idea where we're blitzing from. We just dropped Danny Shelton into coverage because, you know what? Why not? That's why.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about that and just some other potential personnel decisions that they make for sure. And I do think, especially with the Detroit Lions, putting an emphasis on stopping the run, I think is a good tactic to employ. I think it makes a lot of sense for them to load up, play heavy, try to be intentional about early down runs because this is a very good, diverse run scheme with good offensive line. David Montgomery is a really good running back that I don't think enough people are talking about. And also this Jahmyr Gibbs guy that they drafted, he's a special talent. He's got a variety of skills that probably will infuriate Joshua Briscoe because he is a running back, but he's also a running back that might matter. So they've got a very diverse run game and talented backs that could really present problems. So if you can get Jared Goff specifically into situations where they're having to rely on him to get the ball, on a 3rd and long somewhere. Yeah, I think that's a really sound, sturdy approach to how this team needs to play, and it could be, let's load up, let's get a little heavier and try to stop the run.
He's not a traditional running back or being used that way. We're being told that he'll be used in ways that where you just don't expect. Which, by the way,
he's
wow,
playing
he lined
tackle.
up at wide receiver. That's what I said. What are they going to put him at quarterback? Is he going to play safety? Is he going to be Travis Hunter here all of a sudden? We're going to use him in ways you don't expect. He's now the holder. You didn't expect that. Gotcha. Because, he's got a particular set of skills. Skills he's acquired over a very long career. Skills that make a nightmare for people like you, Spags. If you put me out at wide receiver, that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't have somebody ready to guard me as a wide receiver, I will find the opening and I will kill you. That's a particular set of skills that Josh, that's a movie line. It's from a movie called Taken.
I've heard of that one.
With Liam Neeson, the voice of God.
Love that guy's work.
Yeah, he's very good.
Haven't seen the film, but
he's got a particular set of skills. If it's money you want to stop Jahmyr Gibbs, he doesn't have it. It does not have it, but he has a particular set of skills.
I'm surprised Josh has seen something that's not a Wes Anderson film.
No, to be clear, I have not seen Taken. I've just seen that clip, a few times.
Okay, that clears. Okay.
Did you know that Wes Anderson is remaking Taken?
That one I'll watch. Yeah,
okay.
It's it'll be called Taken some Sunday morning behind the barn. And I go, oh, that sounds great. So that stop motion, fantastic.
Oh, it's awesome. Good for him, man.
Taken in the forest. Oh wow, fantastic.
It's a different tone to the whole movie.
Really changes it.
It's really weird. Kent Swanson is our guest. KC Laboratory Podcast, kcsn.substack.com. Andy Reid, Week 1. You went through this at KCSN. If you want to look at all the particulars and the numbers, go there, check it out, and see what all Kent wrote about Week number 1 for Andy Reid and his time with the Chiefs. 9-1. Straight up is Andy Reid, 7-3 against the spread in game number 1. Patrick Mahomes, 5-0 in week number 1, 4-1 against the spread. The only one that was not covered against the spread was against the Cleveland Browns. They were 5.5-point favorites. They won by 4, but they were also down 15-3 and still found a way to go and win by 4. So it was a rough start. It may be an obvious answer, but I'll still, ask your opinion. Why do you think Andy Reid has been so successful in game number 1s? We can even extrapolate that to September's, but game number 1, and why Patrick Mahomes comes out and just lights the defenses on fire in week 1.
Well, I think it all starts with Andy, and I think it starts with how Andy operates camp, how he pushes on his players and makes it a very challenging camp for them. And I think there is a strong correlation between how the Chiefs operate and how notoriously difficult these training camps are and how well that this team performs in September. They seem to be a lot better prepared than a lot of the teams that they're seeing. You're also, I mean, it's that preparation. It's also schematically getting to unleash new concepts, new staples of their offense that have not been prepared for. And this team is notoriously good at, restructuring the offense year over year. You can't just rest on the things you did the year prior entirely. There's going to be some base principles that are able to translate year over year, but there's still plenty of stuff that haven't been, fleshed out on game tape. So, it's a beautiful combination of, I think preparation, I think scheme. And then when it comes to, having all of that and the best player in the world, I think that's where things just get outrageous and why this team has had such ridiculous success. I mean, Patrick Mahomes' stats in week ones are ridiculous. 5-0, 1,500 plus yards, 18 touchdowns, 0 picks in 5 games. It's absurd. And so they go scorched earth on anybody. And you see a lot of teams being more intentional with load management with their starters. Well, this is going to be the first game action for some people. So, yeah, I think it's just a combination, and it's a perfect storm that just makes them an absolute problem, specifically early in September without any chance to adjust and just getting punched in the mouth.
Also should point out the Chiefs in game number 1 under Patrick Mahomes, 5 games have all hit the over in that. So 5-0 on the over hitting in week number 1. If you're wondering about the 53 and a half, whatever it is right now for the Chiefs and Lions tonight, it would, bet the streak. Don't bet against the streak. If you're going to bet it, bet the over. Ken Swanson's our guest, kcsn.substack.com, KC Laboratory Podcast. The over and under total tonight might be affected by whether or not Travis Kelce plays. Let's say he doesn't play, because we have a feeling of what it will look like if he does play. It'll look like the Chiefs with the Travis Kelce, maybe a little limited, but, if he does not play tonight, how do the Chiefs go about that? Do they call up Matt Bushman, do you think, and activate him and still go with 3 tight ends? Do they stay with 2 tight ends but activate all 7 wide receivers that are on the roster right now? How do you think Andy Reid will go about addressing the Chiefs without, number 87 out there?
I think all 7 receivers are active, and I think they probably would have been active even if they had 3 tight ends active, or if they do have 3 tight ends active. Without Travis Kelce, there's some things I've been thinking about. I wonder how much Travis Kelce was really going to be part of the blocking scheme this year. If they were going to try to help load manage him a little bit as a blocker, which if that's the case, that can help some of the early down work. Maybe they were going to try to help manage the load of Travis Kelce a little differently. So, they're not having them block in line this year. And if that's the case, then, maybe some of the early down stuff isn't as affected with Travis Kelce. But I think the biggest impact is obvious passing down, later into the downs, deeper into the distances, required to get a first down. I think that's the impact, the biggest factor with Travis Kelce, obviously. I mean, and this is where, if he can play on a pitch count and you can just, you throw him in there on, 3rd downs, then, that's not a bad formula to still get him involved and kind of manage that situation.
Mm-hmm.
But, Noah Gray's going to have to play a bigger role. We'll see what they do with the early down blocking and how much they were really going to utilize, if they were going to utilize Travis Kelce. Whether or not Bushman's up kind of tells you how much they were going to use him as a blocker, I think, personally. And then, the dark horse for me, just as a not apples to apples replacement for Travis Kelce, but I'd be fascinated to see Justin Ross get a little bit more opportunity as like your true X wide receiver. I mean, Travis Kelce has essentially been the Chiefs' X wide receiver for the last several years. And you can't replace that skill set and that chemistry with Mahomes, but Justin Ross is a true X-type receiver that can play on the backside of a formation and win an isolated route and be a big-bodied receiver for Mahomes. So I'd be curious to see if he gets involved a little bit more.
With that being said, how many wide receivers, not even tight ends or players overall, not even looking at that, but just wide receivers, how many wide receivers do you think get targets tonight? If all 7 are active, do you think all 7 get a target thrown their way at some point tonight? Because We heard Brett Veach say that Rashee Rice and Justin Ross are more package players right now. We know Kadarius Toney tonight is probably going to be a package player, depending on health and all that stuff. And so then you'd have 4 guys that are sort of like just your wide receivers, whether that be MVS, Sky Moore, Justin Watson, and Richie James. If 7 wide receivers are active, do all 7 of them get a ball thrown their way tonight?
Yes. If they're active, they're playing. And I think, if you're keeping 7, it's because you have, installs for them. You have, like you said, the package plays, packages designed for them to be involved. And, I think there's enough targets to go around where I think, if they're all 7 active, all 7 are getting a target. And so, I mean, I don't think the Chiefs, and we'll use Justin Ross as, because we kind of see just from a role perspective, he's the guy that makes the most sense as he's the fringe 7th one, probably. I mean, if they're activating him, they better use him, right? So I think he's going to be involved in some capacity if he winds up here. So I do think he'll get some target, at least a target. I think everyone will get at least 1 target.
All right, what matchups, Ken Swanson's our guest, what matchups are you looking at tonight as a breakdown for this game? To you, is this more about Chiefs offense versus the Lions defense, or Lions offense versus the Chiefs defense?
I think it's still more about the Chiefs offense versus the Lions defense. And like we've seen this team light up the scoreboard and be willing to play in shootouts. We've seen them just, open things up because they needed to open things up because there were some struggles on the defensive side of the ball. But the offense is still what makes this thing tick. Mahomes is still what makes this thing tick. And play style, whatever play style you want to play in, I think Mahomes, has proven to rise to the occasion. But I think this is a game you need to lean on your all-world quarterback. I know Travis Kelce, Travis Kelce's absence really hurts that. But I still just trust Mahomes, and I trust the, offensive weapons and the newness of the scheme and the lack of familiarity with how this team is going to use all of the weapons at Patrick Mahomes' disposal. There's a lot of newness that the Lions just don't have tape on. They don't know how they're going to use all these guys. And the Chiefs have done a good job of keeping that close to the vest. So I think there's a opportunity, even if Travis Kelce is limited, even if he doesn't play, for this team to still light up the scoreboard because of Mahomes, because of the freshness of the scheme. And I think that's how the Chiefs need to try to win this game. They just need to try to light the scoreboard up.
All right, who wins, and do you have a score in mind for tonight?
Yeah, the Chiefs are winning. And if you read the KCSN Substack article I had today, the Chiefs have significantly outperformed the expectations via the betting lines in Week 1. In Patrick Mahomes' career, they have outperformed the spread by an average of 8.7 points. That's a very big number, and in almost the entire, I think every case, that the 8.7 points is more than the actual spread of the game. So Mahomes' read combination lights up the scoreboard. I got 35-23. Drew Tranquill gets a late interception as the Lions are driving in garbage time to protect the spread. So 35-23 Chiefs win.
35-23, we got it down. Chiefs record for you this year?
13-4. I think, this is going to be I think this drama is going to carry on for a while. So I think there will be a couple of games that this team drops that we're going to be disappointed in, and they're still probably going to be the 1 seed.
And who wins the Super Bowl?
It's come on. I'm never betting against Patrick LeVon Mahomes. Really looking forward to them beating the San Francisco 49ers again in the Super Bowl.
You son of a gun. There is Kent Swanson, KCSN.substack.com, and the KC Laboratory Podcast. Kent, appreciate the time as always, brother. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll be checking out the coverage and all of that stuff, and we will talk soon. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you.
Absolutely. There's Kent Swanson, KCSN.substack.com. He's got a 35-23 win for the Chiefs tonight, going 13-4 on the season and beating the 49ers in the Super Bowl. In the next hour, we'll go through and just give our records, what we think the Chiefs are going to be, and and who wins the Super Bowl, things like that. We'll do that coming up in the next hour after Mike Golick Jr. We are hanging out at Intrust Bank in Prairie Village. It is a Red Thursday. They're offering free lunch in celebration of the Chiefs' regular season home opener. It is the Prairie Village location where we are until 2 o'clock. They got some great food. You can meet the friendly staff. You can enter to win game day giveaways here. This community appreciation event. Again, our location, the Prairie Village location on Mission and Somerset, just west of Mission on Somerset in Prairie Village. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling. We got Mike Golick Jr. coming up at noon. More Zone next.
Take the show with you by listening live on 810WHB.com, in the 810 mobile app, or by subscribing to the...
All right, we continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jason Anderson with you. Josh Briscoe hanging out at Intrust Bank. The Prairie Village location is where we are until 2 o'clock today. And they got free lunch on this Red Thursday, celebrating the Chiefs' regular season home opener going on now until, 1 o'clock. We'll be here till 2. Prairie Village location today. Great food, meet the friendly staff. You can enter to win game day giveaways at this community appreciation event. So great stuff there. We got a couple of fans that have stopped by and listeners and things like that, which has been really cool. Got a little man here with the Chiefs shirt on and a little football.
Keep waiting for that to come this way. My hands are ready.
I know. What's the little man's name? Daniel. Daniel what? Daniel Sewell. Hey, Daniel.
You throw that ball over here?
Whoa, look at that face. He was
face.
not. Oh, my goodness. He was like, who are you talking to? Look at that face. That's awesome.
Ball control is important. Yes. High and tight, kid. High and tight.
That is great. I get that reaction from my kids, too, when I try to talk to them. It's weird. I don't know why they don't like me. It's weird. Oh, yeah, there you go. Nice throw.
Great arm action
look at
on that.
Jared Goff tonight. That's what it's going to look like right there. Throwing the football. Nice. There we go. They're here hanging out, getting some food.
Hey,
and
kid, you ever play the 3-tech?
Yeah, maybe some, I don't know, maybe some ice cream, maybe some custard. I'm not really sure. I don't want to say it out loud in case he hasn't enjoyed that. I don't know. It's like, no.
A little kid could probably run through the legs of an NFL offensive lineman. They wouldn't even know what was happening.
That's exactly right. That would be the 3-hole he'd be going through.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
I think that's actually 5-hole, but it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, man.
Who cares? Not a big deal. But thank you to Ken Swanson joining us to talk about the Chiefs in this game coming up tonight as the Lions and Chiefs. It is still a 4.5-point spread right now, and Chiefs are still the favorites. And again, Patrick Mahomes in game number 1, Week 1 games, 4-1 against the spread, and the over has hit all 5 times. So I still like the over in this. I've liked the over even without Travis Kelce, and when he went down, the over got a little bit lower. So, the over got easier, but maybe more difficult without Kelce, but lower numbers with the over. But still, I'm going with the over because the Chiefs are going to score in the 30s. It's simply what they do. And Patrick Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes because it's simply what he does, and especially on week number 1. 913-912-4810. Dylan, do you have either of the I know there was a Kelce one. I just DM'd you one about Chris Jones from Ian Rapper Report. But do we have the Kelce one on the latest update with Kels and his status for tonight? All right, very good. Let's hear. This is Ian Rapper Report on the latest from Travis Kelce about 20 minutes ago on NFL Network.
Yeah, that was definitely an optimistic take from owner Clark Hunt. And he owns the football team. You would think he would know. Optimism certainly is the word right now. Kelce going to have that workout. My understanding is he is not in pain right now. That is a very good sign. That doesn't mean he's going to play. That doesn't mean he's going to be out there. But I'm just saying it's not like his knee is currently throbbing and he can't walk on it. He has a shot. If he doesn't play, it's going to be because the Chiefs hold him back and go, you know what? There's 16 other games. We want you healthy for all those. Take a break. It's fine. But you know that he wants to play. I do not think, as we talked about, that this is a major injury. It does seem like he's got a very real chance to play. It's really just a risk-reward situation and how much risk he and the Chiefs are willing to take. As of right now, I do not know which way it's going to go. I just know it's looking much more optimistic than it was, say, like 2 days ago around this time.
That is that's good to know because the part there that stands out is he's not currently in pain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that would be that's hugely significant if right now he is not in pain, and as he said that if he doesn't play tonight, that it may simply be the Chiefs holding him out. Because there are 16 more games, so there's no reason for you to rush in week number 1. But if the swelling has gone down and he's not in pain, and if they don't feel like there's risk for further injury, which would be the reason you would hold him out, is if you felt like there was risk for further injury. If you do not feel that that's the case, and it's a quote-unquote pain tolerance, and right now he's not in pain, I mean, that would lead me to believe that Travis Kelce is going to be out there suited up, ready to go and playing tonight against the Detroit Lions.
My posture perpetually here has been to lower expectations and forego my hopes and just assume that he's not going to play. But I think you're right. That's the direction that pulls me in as well, to say, I mean, if it's a matter of playing through pain in real time, that I don't mean to exaggerate, but I think Travis Kelce's done that every single week of his career, if I had to guess, to varying degrees, of course. And this was a much scarier initial injury because we didn't know what the severity level was going to be. But if he's in no pain now, and I haven't heard anybody really talk about it being a mobility issue for him, I mean, I would still side on the side of long-term caution. But if the Chiefs think him playing tonight doesn't really change anything in terms of week 2, 3, and beyond, then yeah, it feels like the parachuting out of the sky sort of entrance for Travis Kelce tonight might actually just be the play.
What if he did, though?
I hope he would land on his feet in a way that does not cause his knees to bend awkwardly.
What if he was inactive, but he just sat with Chris Jones?
Would I feel better about? I think I would feel better about things.
Would that be weird?
It would definitely be odd.
I don't know. What if he was inactive, but then Chris Jones was sort of like a fan that was like, Travis, and like held out like his jersey or something, trying to get an autograph, and then Travis was like, hey, that guy right there, come on and bring him down. You know, America's game last night, we find out that on the podium was Andy Reid, the Clarks, and Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. And then Patrick Mahomes goes over to the security guard specifically and says, no, 95. I want 95 up here as well. They weren't going to have Chris Jones up there on stage, but Patrick Mahomes went out of his way to say, no, Chris Jones needs to be up on stage here with us. And so that's how Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes were all on stage. So that's certainly interesting. Maybe that's what Travis Kelce does. Hey, that guy, I want that guy to come on down. No, he's good. He's with me.
Maybe Kelce donates his game check and to Chris Jones, and then Jones plays, but Kelce doesn't.
I kind of feel like Kelce's already donated his game check so that Chris Jones will sign the contract.
That's a great point. That's absolutely correct.
He and Mahomes have donated a lot of money to the Chiefs for Chris Jones to sign that contract. Speaking of which, Ian Rappaport, this was about 15 minutes ago on NFL Network, gave an update as to what he's hearing on Chris Jones, and the question was, is there a seriousness and a real chance of Week 8 being the first time that the Chiefs see Chris Jones?
It might linger that long, actually. And I have not gotten the sense it's close. I've not gotten the sense anything's imminent. Not going to play tonight. Don't get the sense he's going to get a new deal tonight. Now, maybe they circle back. And the Nick Bosa factor has really made this kind of interesting. It was already interesting. But basically, the top of the market for defensive superstars went from 31.7 per year to 34. Theoretically, if you're Chris Jones, you might say, like, okay, well, I should make more. Does he increase his ask? Do the Chiefs then go, okay, all right, the market's a lot higher. We'll now pay you this, whatever they want. Like, I don't know if it necessarily works like that. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to say, okay, the market's higher, we'll just give you more, right? Like, that's usually kind of not how it happens. So first glance, I was like, oh, the Nick Bosa thing makes it easier. It probably makes it harder. And anyway, to answer your question, not going to have Chris Jones tonight. We know that. And it got a lot more complicated. So, like, I think a lot of people saw Week 8 from Chris Jones and kind of, like, shrugged their shoulders or whatever. Could be realistic.
I mean, it'd just be stupid. It would just be dumb. I mean, just be giving away money. It just makes no sense. There's no way that the Chiefs have presented an offer to Chris Jones, and they haven't moved off that offer closer to what Chris Jones and his side wants, which isn't nearly as far apart as if it's like, okay, well, now Bosa's getting $34 million. It's not. There's no way that Nick Bosa signs the contract and the Chiefs go, okay, we'll up our offer to now 29 or 30 instead of 27 million. We'll up our offer from 55 million guaranteed to like 70 million guaranteed because Nick Bosa signed that contract. That's not how it's going to work. They have Chris Jones has his side. The Chiefs have their side. And if Chris Jones and his agents come back and go, hey, we want more, the Chiefs will tell him to go pound sand.
I really do think if the Katz brothers saw what happened, if they saw that Bosa deal and texted Brett Veach and said, hey, actually, we're moving our number up, I think he might have just blocked our number. I think that might just be it because it's all of this has just been so damn laborious. Every inch of this, to me, from the outside, spoiler, have not been in these negotiations, and I feel like it's been pulling teeth. I feel like we've been every nickel of this contract has been excruciating. And maybe they're further away now than they were 24 hours ago. Bleep it, man. I mean, like, it's just.
But he's still going to be at the game.
Here. Yeah, and which also, and I have my skepticisms still.
Okay.
Even with all of not about him being at the game, but in terms of what it does.
Yeah.
The one thing that we have seen pretty consistently this year from Chris Jones, with very, very few exceptions, is when is he around the team and when is he going radio silence, distance between himself and the team and all of that. Hasn't spoken publicly until yesterday, all of that. I think that Chris Jones being in the stadium tonight, we still have to leave open the option that perhaps he's just been getting horrendous advice. But horrendous advice notwithstanding, if he thinks he's going to be in a suite at Arrowhead and they're going to show him on the Jumbotron and the crowd is going to cheer in adulation.
That's going to be rough.
And to start chanting, "Pay the man, pay the man." That's not going to happen because again, and not that he's not worthy of being paid. Every Chiefs fans almost unanimously, I felt like, wanted him to make $26 million average annual value on a nice deal that was going to keep him in Kansas City for the rest of his career. But this has all felt so contentious. It's all taken so long, and there's a regular season game happening tonight.
Yeah.
And like you've already said, it would just be stupid to take this to 8 weeks. There's legitimately just not a payoff for him there, and so maybe I just can't see a world in which they pick up another shred of leverage by sitting out week 2 also. Week 1, maybe. All right, look how serious we are. Here we are. But beyond that, you're just losing game checks.
37-hour pregame coverage presented by Quad Power Products, Bob Allen Ford, and the University of Kansas Health System. We will take a timeout. We'll come back. We are continuing to hang out at Intrust Bank, the Prairie Village location, where they got some free food, some free lunch for you today. If you stop by, say hi, meet the friendly staff, you can sign up and win some cool giveaways, game day giveaways here at Intrust. Our location is the Prairie Village location. We will take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll continue rolling. There, America's Game came out last night in week number 1 with the Chiefs going through the 2022 NFL season, as told through the voice and the words of Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones, narrated by Paul Rudd. Otherwise known as Dylan's Christmas is America's Game, starting last night.
Very accurate.
There are a number of takeaways from that I do want to talk about that I thought was fascinating. Some of it relates to Chris Jones and him there/not there, and some of it just in general. We'll do that on the other side of the break. More Zone next.
Want to see more of The Zone? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch.
810 WHB. We will talk with Mike Golic Jr. coming up at noon. Talk with him about the NFL season kicking off. The Chiefs and Lions tonight. We're hanging out at Intrust Bank, inviting you to a free lunch on this Red Thursday, celebrating the Chiefs' regular season home opener. You can stop by Prairie Village location where we are. Stop by, say hi. You get the free lunch. You get some custard as well that's here, so you can enjoy great food, meet the friendly staff, enter to win game day giveaways at this community appreciation event. Again, our location is the Prairie Village location. I do want to talk about the America's game from last night. We'll do that after Mike Golic Jr. Went a little long in the previous segment, so we'll talk with Mike Golic Jr., Gojo they call him, coming up on the other side of the break. Then we'll get into our predictions, what we think will happen, Chiefs record, etc. We'll have a little fun, play a little sports or leisure before the show is over. More Zone rolling along next.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri. We're for kayakers, car dealers, grocery baggers, and mail carriers. We're for teachers.
along with the lunch. So it is free. You can come down, enjoy the great food, meet the friendly staff, enter to win game day giveaways at this community appreciation event, shake the Drake's hand. You can say hi to Josh Briscoe and ignore me, which would be preferable for most people that are coming by. Are you Josh Briscoe? No, I'm not. He's in the restroom. Okay, great. I'll go find him. Okay.
If you find me in the restroom, I will shake your hand as soon as we get out of there.
Enjoy that. Right now, very pleased to be joined by Mike Golic Jr. As, we're big fans of DraftKings, and they've got their show, DraftKingsNetwork.com, and Samsung TV Plus, the Gojo and Golic, as they talk about a lot of things, including the NFL and everything in between. Mike, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Doing well. Appreciate you guys having me. How you doing?
Well, we are doing fine. I love that the show is called Gojo and Golic because now I'm wondering, is your dad known as Mike Golic Jr.'s dad, where you used to be Mike Golic's son? Has that flipped now, sort of like Pat Mahomes is now Patrick Mahomes' dad, and it used to be he was Pat Mahomes' son? Is that the Golic family?
You know what? I think I got a little ways still to go before that's the case, but this is my bit of subversion in trying to make that happen, right? Heavy negotiations went on to see whose name was going to go up there first. We've got the same agent, so this proves that apparently the fruit baskets I've been sending him on the side that my dad doesn't know about have worked to perfection.
Is the agent your mom?
No, but I promise I would win that battle too. Absolutely. If mom was the one delegating all of this, my mom operates under the premise that you are only as happy as your least happy child, and so she is constantly putting my dad to the side and making sure that me and my brother and my sister are all okay in comparison. My dad might even rank below the dogs at this point.
I mean, that is such a great way to put it with two kids. That is totally right. You are only as happy as your least happy child. It's like, when times get rough, you fall back on your highest level of preparation. So you're only as happy as your least happy child. I love that.
You never rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your training. And in this case, it's usually my sister. She's the youngest of the three. She's the only girl. And she is constantly trying to wear out my dad's credit card or complain about something. So we'll see if that holds true. She's getting ready to be a mom soon, too, but I figure that's not what we're here to talk about today.
Maybe we are. I don't know. Mike Golic Jr. is our guest. I do wonder, though, like, what's it like now doing a show with your dad? I mean, he's been on ESPN Radio forever. I mean, Mike and Mike, one of the most successful shows that's ever been around in sports radio. And certainly anybody that's in sports radio right now has watched it, listened to it, certainly. And you coming up in the business post-playing career, what's it like now to have a show with your dad, the Gojo and Golic show?
It's been cool, and I mean, when I was at ESPN, so I was there 6.5, 7 years. Dad obviously was there decades, and by the end of our time there, we had gotten to call a couple of college football games together, which was pretty cool. And then the last few years was fun. I mean, when Golic and Wingo and Dad started doing the show with Trey, and then I spent the last couple of years with them, we really enjoyed that. And then, it ended because of someone else's decision. We didn't want it to end, but we don't have a choice. It's like football. You're part of a team, and the team's head makes decisions, and so when we both left and partnered up with DraftKings and this opportunity presented itself where Dad really felt he still wanted to do daily content. I had been doing the show for them already, and we had a partner that was willing to let us explore this. It was something that we all jumped at. And so it's fun. I've always said, because even now working in the industry as short a time as I have, I've gotten to work with a lot of great people. I've gotten to co-host with a lot of great people that are friends of mine off the mic. And you still don't have that same level of comfort as you do with someone that's literally helped raise you for the past 34 years. And so I know where I can go with him. We both know each other's strengths and weaknesses. It's what my dad helped me so much with early in my career when we got to be on together. Is he knew exactly. It's like they always talk about LeBron James passes. He asks guys exactly where they want the ball when he's feeding them the rock. My dad knew exactly where to pass me the ball, so that early on, when I was still trying to just make my layups, I could make them and I could start to see the ball go through the basket a little bit. And so it's been fun to evolve it to the point now where we're both so comfortable with each other on and off there that we can bring some of what's gone on in our living room for our entire life into an audience that hopefully enjoys it too.
Yeah, it must be cool to work with somebody on a radio show that throws it right where you need it, and not at your feet or over
So,
your
Mike,
head,
you went to the Eras Tour, what, twice? Twice? Did you 2 stops for the T-Swift?
2 stops, but 3 shows. I went twice in Los Angeles, once in Vegas, so I got to see the full gamut, boys, of the 3rd show of the tour in the Las Vegas stop, and then 2 of the last shows in the L.A. portion. And, man, she is the greatest endurance athlete of my lifetime. I don't know how she pulled that off. I am 34 years old at the end of this month. I went twice. She did 6 shows in 7 days in Los Angeles. I went twice and thought I was going to be on bed rest for the rest of the week. And she somehow now has moved on to the European portion of the tour. So God gives his toughest battles to his strongest shoulders. He just keeps loading up weight on Taylor.
Did you? Did she accept your friendship bracelet as opposed to Kelsey?
Yeah, you know what? That was a tough one for Travis, man. And I like Travis. I love the fact that he was trying to speak the language, right? He didn't come in and say, well, I'm Travis Kelce, the football player. She should care more about that. He said, all right, the love language of the tour is bracelets. We're going to go out here and try and do that one. So I didn't even put myself in the position to get shot down like that because I wouldn't have even made it half as close as he did there. If that guy wasn't going to be able to get it done with all the catching Kelsey fame in the background of that one, I probably didn't stand a chance, so I just stuck to trading him in the parking lot like everybody else.
God, how amazing would it have been if she was like, Gojo, you're right here.
Oh, guys,
you're
listen,
at my show?
I wouldn't be talking to you guys right now, all right? I'd be in the Hamptons or something. I'd be on some I'd have quit this job. I promise. Taylor, if you're listening, I will be the best stay-at-home dad on earth. If Joe Alwyn wasn't willing to step up to the plate and just be a road soldier with you, I promise I'll drop everything in my life right now. I'll be cooking at home in the apron. I'll whatever you need, I got it. So let me make this my public plea.
If you need a kept man, I am willing to be that for you. I will sacrifice that for you. I will give it all up, and I'll risk it all in a heartbeat. Mike Golic Jr. is our guest. DraftKingsNetwork.com is where the show is, Gojo and Golic, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern. They've got the show today from 4 to 7 Eastern, Samsung TV Plus and DraftKingsNetwork.com. You tweeted out last night, first time in Kansas City. How's the city treating you so far?
It's been incredible. I said to someone earlier today, I tweet out usually crowdsourced food options in every town I go to when I'm traveling on the road. I cover college football games for Learfield during the falls, and so I get to campuses I haven't been to before. I like to ask the locals what I need to be looking at. I have never gotten such a loud and raucous response as I have from the folks around Kansas City. These people are passionate about their food in a way that registers. I've heard from my dad for years when he came here as a player that this was the best-smelling stadium he ever played at. It was borderline distracting how good it all felt there and how good it all smelled there. And the reputation of this city certainly needs no introduction. They were loud and proud, so I've been very, very happy so far.
Yeah, very proud of the barbecue around here, so that is for sure. I'm assuming if you got a lot of recommendations, there were probably about 50 different barbecue joints. And somebody, go check this out. Go check this out. You got to try this barbecue joint. Got to try that barbecue joint. I don't think you'll have enough time to try them all. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with the attempt.
So, no, listen, I'm doing this interview outside of Jack Stack, so we're on the right path.
There you go. There you go. I apologize for taking your time. Get that cheesy corn. Just take the bites of the cheesy corn and the burn ends, whatever you need, while we're talking with you. Mike Golic Jr. is our guest. Tonight's game, the build-up, the anticipation, the Chiefs defending Super Bowl champions. The last time they raised a flag and they had a game after winning a Super Bowl, there were about 15,000 fans in attendance because it was 2020 and COVID. So there'll be 73, 74, whatever it's going to be tonight, screaming fans. So that's going to be a little bit different. But there is an element of the luster taken off the game for tonight around here with the Chris Jones saga and then the Travis Kelce hyperextended knee and not knowing if he's going to play tonight. Where are you sitting right now on this game tonight, and how much does it matter if 95 and 87 are not going to be out there?
Listen, I think it's massive, right? In a game where, yeah, you're going to have all that home crowd momentum, and I think a lot of this is going to fade as the game's gone on. And listen, in at least the case of Chris Jones, you've been practicing without him for a while. Now, the guys that have been around last year, everybody knows top-end-wise, you're going to be missing a lot, but at the very least, this is not some recent change on the defensive side of the ball for you relative to this preseason. The Travis Kelce portion of this is a little more damning just because it's something that popped up in the middle of a short week of preparation coming up here, and now you're going to have to adjust on the fly, even in the best-case scenario if you were able to go. And so that one is definitely concerning, and the matchup-wise on the other side defensively for what we know this Detroit Lions offense wants to do, beat you up front. We've heard all about Jahmyr Gibbs' usage in Ben Johnson's offense. All those things are going to try and attack exactly where the Chiefs are going to be most vulnerable on defense right now. So both incredible. Obviously, the Chiefs still rightly favored because as long as you got Pat and Andy, it seems like anything's possible. But these are, especially on Travis's end because of the timing of it, very concerning.
Visiting with Mike Golic Jr. Do you think Chris Jones talked yesterday, impromptu press conference? I did not have that on the bingo card of Chris Jones having a press conference in front of a Ronald McDonald House, talking about his contract with his agent standing about 10 feet away, looking on. That was not expected as we opened the week, but he said that he didn't do the hold in because he didn't want to be a distraction. He's also going to the game tonight. Is he going to be in a suite? He'll be in street clothes. He's not playing. Not expected to sign a contract before the game, so he's just going to be in attendance while holding out. You've played the game. Is it a distraction for the teammates, or is that driven by the media and those outside when we say, boy, this is a distraction for the team? Is it much of a distraction if Chris Jones, still hasn't signed, did the holdout, and will be at the game but still not signed for tonight?
Yeah, I don't think it's a distraction to the guys in the locker room. Obviously, the conversation has been the main thing floating around all of this in the lead-up, but those guys are going to be focused on what they've got going on the field tonight. They know, I'm sure, wanting the best for their brother, wanting the best for their teammate. They're going to keep getting asked about it, which after a while can get old, but I have no belief that there's going to be any sort of, bad feelings or issues there. Getting ready for week one, like you said, raising the banner, your opening night of the NFL, there's enough to focus on there to where I don't think this is going to be a big deal for any of the guys lacing them up.
Mike Golic Jr. is our guest. Do you have a prediction as to what you think happens tonight in the game? And maybe if a score pops into your mind or not, but what do you think takes place, Mike?
I think we get a lot of points from both these teams tonight. You always think of your early season football and the changes on rosters and all the things you got to absorb. We talked about some of the changes for these guys, but the bottom line is it's still Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes, and on the other side, Ben Johnson, that offense, two of probably the top 5, top 10 offensive lines in the NFL. There's high floors on both these teams. Going up against defense that, listen, we've talked a lot about Kansas City's defense without Chris Jones and what that's going to mean for them. Are they going to have to blitz more against the team that did well against it last year? But on the other side, that Lions secondary, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Brian Branch, all that newness in there, they're going to get a stress test against one of the best passing offenses in the NFL. So I expect a ton of points. I'm always an over guy. I'm a former offensive player, so I'm rooting for it. I think the Chiefs win. I think the Lions got a good chance to cover here because I think this is going to be a big-time shootout where Detroit can do their best to try and squeeze the ball because that's naturally a part of their offense going up against now what we've talked about as the weakness in this Chiefs defensive front. But I think Kansas City pulls it off and gets started on a season where, listen, going into the season, I picked them to repeat. I firmly think that the belt has got to be with them and, for Cincinnati, for Buffalo, for all those teams that are chomping at the bit right now, this Chiefs team is just in one of those zones, especially if they can get this Chris Jones situation settled where their core and the man at the helm of all of this is just too much to overcome.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. Mike Golic Jr. Again, the Gojo and Golic Show, DraftKingsNetwork.com, Samsung TV Plus, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern. Today, from 4 to 7 Eastern. That is where you can find them. Mike Golic Jr. Gojo, I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. Enjoy the barbecue, and looking forward to hearing from you in the show, and then as it continues as well. Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. There's Mike Golic Jr. Samsung TV Plus, DraftKingsNetwork.com is where you can find their show, Gojo and Golic. First billing for Mike Golic Jr. On the marquee there. So good for him, man. Good for him to get that first billing. So a lot of negotiating with the agent.
Look, I think I don't have any kids, but if I did, I think I would have to pick up his mom's advice there. You're only as happy as your least happy child.
That is amazing.
That's a pretty good rule of thumb there.
That is. I'm gonna steal that like it's my own. I'm just gonna. It's like we're in a bank, so I'm gonna just be like Chiefsaholic. Just take it as if it's mine.
It's like my dad always say. I'm gonna steal it just as if it's my own.
That's what your dad always
said? My dad always said.
Your dad is. Wearing a wolf costume for some reason. It's weird. We are hanging out.
I'm not gonna make any jokes about Chiefsaholic today. I don't think.
Yeah, probably not a good idea.
Where are we at?
I don't know. We are at the almost finish line for the off season. Josh,
that's so true.
Week number 1 is
We're
coming
so
up
near.
tonight. 7:20 when that game will go on. So we are looking at 7 hours and 5 minutes right now. The countdown continues to be on. 7 hours, 5 minutes. Let's freaking roll. You can roll on over here to Intrust Bank Prairie Village and get yourself some free food. There's free lunch on this Red Thursday celebrating the regular season home opener. You can join in on the fun. The location we are at today in Prairie Village. You get great food, meet the friendly staff. You can enter to win game day giveaways, this community appreciation event. We will be here until 2 o'clock. You can come by, say hi to Josh, myself if you want to, the Drake. Davey B is here hanging out, so you can see him and say hi and just reminisce of the good old days and back in the day. You can do that if you want to as well. We'll take a time out. We'll come back. I do want to weigh in on a few things that came from America's game last night on NFL Network. I thought that was interesting. And we'll get into our predictions. We'll just give, what we think the Chiefs are going to be record-wise, who wins the Super Bowl, or maybe who the Chiefs beat in the Super Bowl, MVP, something like that. We'll find out. And then Sports and Leisure, we'll do all Chiefs on the sports side, certainly, for that. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More Zone next.
Want to see more of The Zone? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
All right, we're hanging out at Intrust Bank Prairie Village location right now. Jason Anderson, Josh Briscoe, Dylan Michaels. It is a free lunch day for you. It's Red Thursday. You know, the Chiefs in action tonight with the regular season opener, and you get some free lunch at Intrust Bank. We are hanging out at the Prairie Village location until 2 o'clock. They got free lunch going on right now. They got some hamburgers, some hot dogs. Freddy's is here with some custard if you want that. Enjoying what's going on down here. You can enjoy some great food, meet the friendly staff. You can enter to win game day giveaways at this community appreciation event. So that is what's going on where we are at right now until 2 o'clock.
Every burger gets better when you're eating it outside, I think, or at least like this is a really solid lunch. I feel like I have been lifted, elevated into the game day shape I needed to be in today.
Yeah.
Because you eat a piece of meat that's been cooked outside, then put on a bun, put some cheese and your toppings on that. That right there, that's game day fuel. I feel great. I have been rejuvenated, and there is nothing we can talk about next that will take my joy away. I have been completely revitalized.
So America's game last night, Chris Jones was
Come
part of
on,
it.
Jason! Come on!
There's a James Palmer tweet report that apparently Chris Jones is going to be at the stadium tonight. Pretty sure that's been going on for about 4.5 hours now since Anthony Sherman said that this morning on Sports Radio 810.
I'm going to say Sherman had the original. What the way James phrased it is a little bit interesting, depending on where he was hearing it from, I guess. He said there's a pretty good chance Chris Jones will be at Arrowhead tonight because I had the 810 app open this morning. Whoops, sorry, nope, I have that. There's a pretty good chance Chris Jones will be at Arrowhead tonight in a suite to watch the Chiefs open up the season against the Lions. If he's there, it would not be a surprise to the Chiefs either, and they are not opposed to allowing Jones to be there and to see the Super Bowl banner drop.
Raise. Does it drop? Does it raise? Does it? How does
Great question. He said drop. I think they drop the
banner,
the thing that's covering it. Maybe.
Oh yeah. Super Bowl champions and raise the flag
really
at the same time.
Dropping the cover. I don't know. I'm not sure. The direction of the banner notwithstanding, at least kind of interesting that there's that. They're not opposed to allowing him to be there. Like they're not gonna say, back to Chiefsaholic again. They're not gonna say, do not let this man in the stadium. Chris Jones isn't gonna have to come in costume. Although, what if he did?
What if every gate had a picture of Chris Jones?
Oh.
It's like, do not let this man in the building.
Do not let this man in.
The wording is interesting. They are not opposed to him being there.
It also doesn't say they invited him.
Yeah, we're not. So what do you think about Chris Jones? I mean, we're not opposed to it. I mean, we're not going to stop him from showing up at the game. I mean, he's a paying customer. He can go to the game all he wants. We're not opposed to it. So, yeah, he will be at the game. The over-under at 2.5 of how many times the camera finds him. I will take the over on that.
Yeah.
I think each time the Jared Goff has about 10 seconds in the pocket to survey the field and clean the football a little bit and then tie his shoes just in case they come loose. I think they may show Chris Jones up there enjoying some Cracker Jack or some a hot dog maybe or that hamburger, chicken fingers. Maybe go with a soft pretzel.
I think a soft pretzel seems right. I'm trying to figure out what
as long as it's a soft pretzel and it's not the weapon that sometimes those soft pretzels at the game turn into.
That's
because they're
a good
so
point.
hard. It's like
right.
You can just use it as like nunchucks.
Yeah, that's you really could. I think
break
if you get it just right.
Just tie it together. Sometimes the cheese is hard enough that it doesn't actually break apart, so you can do that. Or you can use them as like brass knuckles if you need to.
Chris Jones's hands are big enough that he could probably wear a couple of soft pretzels as brass knuckles.
Soft pretzel would be like a full-on ring for him.
Yeah,
just wear it. His hands
There's
are
a
so
nickname
big.
there too. I think.
So we'll see him in
soft pretzel,
enjoying some food, maybe some peanuts or something. I don't know.
I think we'll see him on the broadcast. I think it will be frustrating because of that contact that it will be when Jared Goff has enough time to set roots in the pocket is when I'm going to start wondering what Chris Jones is looking like in the suite.
Last night's America's game on NFL Network would have had a number of really fun takeaways today if it wasn't the backdrop of all this Chris Jones stuff going on today, because there were a number of Chris Jones takeaways. Chris Jones takes. Well, he does take away. But the takeaways involving Chris Jones in America's game last night, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was awesome. They went through the season as it was just the story told through the lens and words of Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Chris Jones, narrated by Paul Rudd. And it was great. And they went through all the games and the highs and lows, and mostly the highs, and then on into the playoffs and everything like that. Dylan, can we play the clip? We finally got an answer to what Chris Jones said to Matt Ryan that cost them a 15-yard penalty and an eventual touchdown by the Indianapolis Colts and a loss for the Chiefs. This came from America's Game TV show last night. Here's Chris Jones.
I told Matt Ryan, get your old ass up. And they gave me a flag.
He, the only other audio I could find was somebody recording off the TV, so it wasn't great audio. So he went on to say, they gave me a flag for that. And then he said, well, I also included bloop. Said I kind of left that part out. Now, at first I thought, did he say get your bleeping, like F word, old ass up?
Drake is staring a hole through you right now. He is
That's
so
right.
worried about the FCC violation we're about to commit.
Or did he use a B word that's also the sex of a dog?
Yeah.
As in, get your
Dog
bleep
bottom up.
Ass bleep old whatever it is up. Either way, he did start laughing when he said, "Oh, I included that as well." And it's like, "Yeah, okay." And he's sort of been like, "All right, I kind of got the flag." But get your old ass up, and that caused a flag. Plus, even if it was like an F-bomb, like, come on. I mean, these guys are grown men. They're making, millions and millions of dollars, and I think Matt Ryan is okay to survive that.
He's heard that before.
Yeah.
He's heard that before.
Didn't he also tell Tom Brady to get his old ass off the field? And that didn't invoke a flag?
The refereeing was not vindicated by this clip. Regardless, with our relatively educated guests here now that we have, get your old bleep bottom up. We can say ass, I guess. Drake's right there.
Yeah. He's staring a hole at through you now.
And I'm tiptoeing right now. But there was a very short list of things I think Chris Jones could have said that would have guaranteed a flag. Drake, my 5 favorite things that he could have said that would have forced a flag. Number 5. No, but it's
You should
ridiculous.
have stayed in Atlanta. Number 4.
Number 4, a horrible string of profanities.
This offense is crazier than Jim Irsay. Number 3.
That's pretty good, actually. Hold on.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, who's got a worse back? You, 40-year-old Matt Ryan, or Jonathan Taylor?
Whoa.
Number 2.
That's right. Yeah, so we finally get the answer to that. Also, what came from last night is we get the answer with Chris Jones when he sacks Joe Burrow at the end of the AFC Championship game and then waves. Part of it was him waving and saying bye. But he also tells the story of how much it ate at him that Joe Burrow put an Instagram post of him slipping out of the tackle of Chris Jones. So Chris Jones laying on the ground with his arms sort of crossed and Joe Burrow's foot just in the air with the caption, "Cartier glasses, I won't even peek at you." And so Chris Jones said, that all offseason was about Joe Burrow. And he said in that moment on third down, he's like, I cannot believe this whole thing has come full circle, that here is this chance. And he goes and he whips the tackle and he lands on him, right? Not a flag, gets up and he waves and he says, peekaboo, won't even peek at you. Bye-bye.
So good.
I can see you. Can you see me? I see everybody. Bye-bye. And he said part of the waving was, oh, I see you. Bye-bye. Cartier glasses. I won't even peek at you. And he was like, it was just how the feeling of accomplishment, how much that sort of meant to him, that not only winning the game, and he also said, I was waving by because I knew we'd get the ball, go kick a field goal. We were going back to the Super Bowl. One other thing that came out of that, which is why we talk about the impact of a guy like Chris Jones in the middle, why he needs the or wants the money, why the Chiefs felt like he deserves the money. They're just off on what those parameters are, but the Chiefs are definitely willing to pay him a lot of money. I didn't realize the Nick Bolton touchdown in the Super Bowl was all Chris Jones. So Chris Jones talked about it before the play, or after the play was over. Chris Jones went up to Nick Bolton and said, Nick, it worked. I told you it was going to work. And Chris Jones described it and said, I was lining up over the center over Jason Kelce. And he said, and I knew the right guard was going to have help on me. And he goes, so my plan was to go into Kelce and push him to his left because the guard was already coming down to double. And if you watch it, the guard chases Chris Jones over. Guard doesn't even have to help on Chris Jones. Chris Jones is just taking Jason Kelce out of the play, and the guard is following Chris Jones, which leaves Nick Bolton wide open, one-on-one with Jalen Hurts to make the tackle, and that's when Hurts panics and tries to go to his right, puts the ball in the other hand and fumbles, and then Nick Bolton picks it up and scores. Chris Jones goes over to the sideline. He was like, Nick, it worked, and then says to Spags, amazing call. That was an awesome call. We got, Derek Notty's not doing that.
Yeah, that's right.
That's where the money comes in. That's where the impact is Nick Bolton is awesome. And we talk about, Nick Bolton made that play. The play was made possible because 95 was on the field and because they were double-teaming him, and he knew that particular formation, whatever it was, the right guard was going to double-team Chris Jones and knew that wherever he went on that play, the right guard was going to follow. So by simply pushing into Kelce to his left, opened up that huge gap for Nick Bolton. That ain't Turk. It's not Noddy. It's not Coburn. It's not Farrell. It's not a lot of players outside of Quinnen Williams, Jeffrey Simmons, Aaron Donald, Chris Jones, those, real high-level players that you're going, Kelce and the right guard, take care of 95.
And even that, I don't know if Quinnen Williams is at that point right now, just because he's younger, right? In terms of knowing what the defense, not just knowing what the offense, not just knowing what the offense is going to do, but knowing how you are going to impact that offense. And that's something that has me legitimately worried about the defense tonight, is that in a different world, the Lions would have spent their entire offensive game plan, the first thing on their item, on their list of items, their bullet point number one would be, what do we do with Chris Jones? Not philosophically. On every play, you start with, okay, what is 95's involvement here? Okay, well, it's a quick little screen pass, so we'll be fine. Okay, fine. So then you get to the rest of the play. You are double teaming. You are showing different looks as an offense to try to not let Chris Jones know what he's going to be able to do to what you have presented to him, much less getting, if you have more athletic offensive linemen, as the entirety of the league has more of now. Chris Jones's power is something that can overwhelm a more finesse offensive line that likes to pull, that likes to try to find ways to get their linemen into space. You have a heavier, older school offensive line that feels a little bit more outdated now, but Chris Jones is too quick for any thudding, plodding guard in football. Good luck. And everything for opposing offenses with this Chiefs defense has to start with Chris Jones, which is then also the ripple effect of how much easier does that make George Karlaftis' life. Derek Notty, Keandre Coburn, FAU, Mike Dana, whoever it is next to him, across from him, anywhere. It makes the entire defense's life easier just by merely being there. So on the field, not in a suite, ideally.
Right, yes, I know what you mean.
So we have spent a lot of time recently with the frustrations on the contract front, understandably, because this has still been handled poorly.
Yeah.
But the absolutely undeniable impact of Chris Jones is hard to overstate, and somehow it seems like his agents found a way to overstate it.
We also found out that I didn't know this, but Kelce told the reason why he wears number 87.
Oh,
because Jason Kelce was born in 1987, and he said he's the one that started. The only reason I'm doing this is because of my older brother. So it's all a dedication to him. He was born in 87. That's where this whole Kelce thing started, was 87. That's why he wears it. I thought that was pretty awesome to find that out last night during America's game. And just some of the other things that sort of you just hear from the players that during the game you find out different things and mic'd up and some of that. So it was cool. Episode number 1. Dylan, I'm assuming you've watched it. I'm assuming you actually tailgated for it.
That is accurate. I actually have been looking for the replay all over the place because I did love it so much. It's way better done than the first one. The first one they did, we actually had behind the scenes, they had to do the voice recording in their closets at home because it was during COVID. So the production was a little lesser, but this one did a very, very good job. I did wonder, it was weird that they showed so much of Jason during the Super Bowl because usually they do not do that. But otherwise, I really thought it was great, and I like that you touched on the point of the play with Bolton because, it shows things that you don't know or you don't hear about, like the Cartier glasses stuff, and it's really good behind-the-scenes work, and it's done for every team because every team has NFL films following them around the whole season. So
yeah, I didn't know that particular Instagram post is what continued to
Yes.
drive Chris Jones all offseason. He said extra reps. He would continue to look at it and do extra stuff over the offseason, manifest it, talking about it, thinking about it. I want to play the Bengals. Again, want to get the Bengals in the playoffs. And then he got that opportunity. He took advantage of it. So certainly, good on him being able to do that. And one of the other things that I saw, I had never seen an angle of Travis Kelce going up to Patrick Mahomes after they beat the Bengals and going, Burrowhead my ass. This is Mahomes' house. They did an angle from to Mahomes' left,
Yes.
right, and about 20 feet in the air looking down. And I didn't realize. So to paint the picture as to why this stood out to me, when Mike Hilton was looking at the camera in Buffalo and said, "We see y'all at Burrowhead," next to him was Eli Apple and Von Bell, having some fun with Burrowhead. The angle they showed of Travis Kelce going up and hugging Patrick Mahomes and going, Burrowhead my ass, the angle there is right as Kelce's going up to hug Patrick Mahomes, Von Bell walks up to give Kelce 5.
Wow.
So Kelce is hugging Patrick Mahomes, and Von Bell is standing 1 foot away from him when he goes, Burrowhead my ass,
If you see
and then
two-
turns around.
If you see two, he almost walks away and is startled that Von Bell is so close to him. And basically, I imagine, Jason, as you probably do, is like, hey, pretty sorry about, disrespect, good game.
So about the Burrow, just unbelievable that one of the three guys that were there, that were the whole Burrowhead video and everything, standing right next to Kelce when he screams into the camera, Burrowhead my ass with Patrick Mahomes. I mean, I've never seen that angle before, and it was awesome to see that. It just added just a little bit more of satisfaction that they were saying that right in front of somebody who was enjoying it next to Mike Hilton and Eli Apple with the Burrowhead stuff. So
anytime you get that extra view, I mean, you've got a off-season storyline in the Jones Instagram post, an in-game play, Jones and the Bolton scoop and score, and then post-game there with Kelce and Burrowhead and all of that stuff that I am always a little bit humbled by those little glimpses we get, because it is a reminder of how little information we are having to glean so much of this from, which I think the media world is getting better and better at this as it evolves. But that, do you know how different our conversation would have been about that Nick Bolton play if he would have opened with that in a post-game presser? That could have, and honestly, there's a chance that got talked about somewhere in the hecticness of post-game after Super Bowl. I don't know. But I missed it and I was doing the post-game show, so I think I would have caught it. But I mean, man, what a cool look at a team that does have so many awesome elements to it.
Just love that added element of Von Bell standing right there, and almost like, should I walk away? And then Kelce started walking away and then turned around and saw Von Bell and then went to go and give him, 5 or whatever. So that's great. All right, we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll do some predictions. Chiefs record this year, Super Bowl winners, who plays in the Super Bowl, etc. And then we'll have some fun with sports or leisure coming up in the 1 o'clock hour. We are hanging out at Intrust Bank and inviting you to a free lunch going on here for Red Thursday, celebrating the Chiefs' regular season home opener. And you can join in the fun here, enjoy some great food, meet the friendly staff, enter to win game day giveaways at this community appreciation event. It's going on today. We are here till 2 o'clock, Prairie Village location for Intrust Bank. We take a timeout. We come back. More Zone next.
Take the show with you by listening live on 810WHB.com, in the 810 mobile app.
attest. I can say that is true. We are hanging out at Intrust Bank, the Prairie Village location, where we are at today. They got a free lunch for you on this Red Thursday, celebrating the Chiefs' regular season home opener. You can join in on the fun, enjoy some great food, meet the friendly staff, enter to win game day giveaways at this community appreciation event, Prairie Village location for Intrust Bank today. So Nate telling the truth.
It's been a blast. Everybody out here has been super cool. Got to meet a lot of listeners, and a little burger and Freddy's custard to get my day going.
And hot dog and frozen custard. Not in the frozen custard, hot dog and frozen custard. Maybe not together. I had a hot dog then frozen custard, I should say that.
Well, do you want me to? I think I could probably make that happen for you if you want to try a hot dog and frozen custard.
I'm okay. I bet Freddy's could make it happen.
I think they could.
I bet they could probably make it pretty good.
I think we could make that at least pretty good. I instead just asked for all the toppings they had, which is not a joke.
So do you want anything on it? He said all of it.
I think I just will take Can I get a scoop of custard in the little cookie dough bites, please?
It's like, can I actually get custard on it?
Exactly.
I want the frozen custard on it.
Custard's also great.
That's actually the base. Yeah, I know, but you guys don't want anything on it. Yes.
They have this like giant drum with 2 custard drums inside of it, so I just try to take the one drum of custard and the thing of cookie dough bites. But
thought it was odd when Josh scooped out a big old thing of custard, put it on a plate, and then grabbed the big barrel to take with him. It's
yes.
like I left some behind for people just in case.
And it was even weirder when I got back over here and I just broke off the top of the vial of insulin and just chugged it. That's not how it works. It didn't help at all.
Well, you're still new to the process.
I'm still
learning.
Still my rookie contract with diabetes. I'm hoping they choose not to re-up, but
I know how much you're worth.
It's looking like they really do. My agents are just my pancreas.
All right, what do we think happens this season for the Chiefs? We'll give our predictions in the final segment of the show for the game tonight. Okay. But this season for the Chiefs, what do you got? 10-7, 9-8.
I'm a little more bullish than that.
17-0 for Josh.
And I'm a little less bullish than that.
Okay, 16-1.
When you raised the over/under by 1 when we were doing our ZOUs yesterday, and we all still went over 12.5, right?
We did. Yep.
I wouldn't have gone over 13.5. So okay. I am drawing my line there at 13-4. And this isn't with that's a win, that's a loss, that's a win. I did that when I've done that several times this offseason.
Right.
But now at this point, I think there's going to be a couple of losses on this schedule against really good teams that will say, all right, that's more or less what it looks like. And then the Chiefs are usually good for a couple of infuriating ones. And a Chris Jones-less defense and at least a less than 100% Chris Jones for some period of time. He could play against the Jags, but I'm not going to say he's Chris bleeping Jones in week 2, even if he signs tomorrow. So I'm going 13-4.
Dylan, what do you think?
I think I'm.
That's a great point, Dylan.
I think it's a good point. Yeah.
I'm gonna go 13-4 too, just because of the over that I said, and also Josh makes a bunch of great points about a couple infuriating losses. I imagine, and I know this is not gonna land well. I think that the Broncos are gonna get tired of the we haven't beat the Chiefs since 2015 thing, and that could be one of our infuriating losses this season. So, yeah, I think that 13-4 is good.
Well, that's cool because I also had 13-4. So fun.
Really?
Yeah. 13-4. I was waffling from 14-3 to 13-4. I also took the alternate line at DraftKings in the total wins for the Chiefs at over 12.5. The line is 11.5. I went ahead and chose 12.5. Get better odds on that because I think with 17 games, the Chiefs can find a way to win 13. So. 13-4.
Let's play this game then.
Let's play it.
Where are you guys Where would you be more confident if I said they're not winning 13 games? They are going to
14.
win 12 or 14.
I'd be more confident in 14.
I'd take 12.
Yeah.
Dylan?
I'll go 12 too.
Well, I'm a homer, so.
It's just man, this sport's
plenty of times.
This sport's just so weird, and every year it changes enough that weird stuff happens. But the most consistent thing right now is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
So. 14 wins would not surprise me, neither would 12. Anything outside of that little bell curve would.
I've got Chiefs over Niners in the Super Bowl.
I've been trying to not go Chiefs over Niners, but it would be so funny to watch Sam Darnold in the Super Bowl.
So you got Chiefs over Niners?
Give me a rematch. I'll go Chiefs Eagles.
Chiefs Eagles, okay.
I'm switching it up. I don't believe in that at all.
Dylan?
I'm thinking Chiefs Niners too, because if the Niners meet the Eagles in the championship game with a quarterback, I think it's different last year too.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll have some revenge. Maybe they're mad about an Instagram post or something like that. Maybe they're tired of calling it Hurts Levi's.
That's a tough one.
Leisure next.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Justin Reed, safety for your Kansas City Chiefs. As you know, it was a great first year here in Kansas City. And that's right, the whole time I was driving my F-150 from Victory Ford.
Come in today.
More free time, free delivery, and better value. Go to GuaranteedFoods.com. You're into sports, but nothing wrong with a little leisure time. Why not both?
You're going to have a heart attack by the time you're 40 if you don't learn to relax.
It's time for sports or leisure on The Zone with Jason Anderson.
I was right about 10 seconds away from just finishing up the custard and being good to go.
I got about 4 bites left.
Yeah, well, I'm done. I just had about 10, 15 seconds away from being all good in the hood.
Dylan, just let us know when we're back.
Yeah, just whenever we're ready to go. Make sure, Dylan, when you come on the microphone, let everybody know it's 913-381-810 to play. So 913-381-810 to play.
Do you think we could do the show from here every day? Will they just keep bringing us burgers and custard?
That would be great.
I'm enjoying this.
That'd be awesome. I will. I'd be down with it. Let's check with sales, see if they're down with it as well.
We could probably just build a little permanent desk over here or something. We could tuck right in. They won't even know we're here except for when we eat their food.
They got a lot of space over here that we can just hang out. We'd be extra security.
Yeah, well, that's a good idea
We would
too.
immediately announce to the cops or whatever if something's going down.
Yep, somebody comes in and hey, good news, guys. We're here with eyes on it.
We are right here. We are also continuing our 37-hour pregame brought to you by Quad Power Products. Call them 816-965-8925 or online at quadfluidpower.com. That is Quad Power Products. Also, Bob Allen Ford. All Fords are created equal. It's your dealer that makes the difference. And the University of Kansas Health System, the official health care provider of the Chiefs, as well as thousands of middle school, high school, and college athletes in the Kansas City area. If you have a sports injury, why would you go anywhere else? Learn more at kansashealthsystem.com/sports medicine. Our pregame coverage continues until 7 o'clock tonight with the Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show starting at 5 o'clock with Sren Petro, Curtis Seabolt, Mark Boerichter, Adam Dravetta running the ship for that at 5 o'clock. And then when the game is over, our Sports Radio 810 postgame show with one Joshua Briscoe.
Hello.
He's there.
We're going to have the energy. I hope it's a fun post-game show to kick off the regular season. Pre-game, people were in regular season form, but we'll see how it goes when it all counts tonight.
Have they taught you how to lock up here when you're finally leaving after the post-game for the night?
They have not. I just sort of figured I'd walk out and they'd handle it. But, no, let me check. I think I'll be back at the station for the post-game coverage. And then you can also watch that across the 810 socials as well if you'd like. You can log in and leave your comments there, or just watch so you can see me, Dylan, and Covell all running the operation.
There you go. 913-381-810 is the phone number. We'll play a little sports or leisure. It's presented by Johnny's Tavern. We'll do it for a couple of segments, and then we will break down the game to wrap things up. 913-381-810, Johnny's Tavern, $25 at Johnny's Tavern on the line for you. If you get a sports question and a leisure question right, either of them wrong, you lose. The question will be out there available for someone to call in and request. We do not give out the answer until someone has answered it correctly, or we have just simply run out of time. Then we will tell you what that answer is. What are the categories today, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked that, folks, because the categories today are Chiefs training camp stars, mainly just a Bobby Scipio question. We have a couple left in the undrafted free agents, or what we called was go UDFA yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
So go UDFA yourself. We got a couple of questions there. And then we have Chiefs openers. We have questions about the Chiefs openers. And I threw a couple general questions on there, one NFL, one college football, just in case it tickled somebody's fancy. But it's, 98.7% Chiefs. Actually, it's 146 point what? 2, what are the decibels? 146.2, 142.6.
Here a second ago.
140 plus percent of Chiefs. What about on the leisure side, Josh?
We've got the last couple of questions from the unidentified flying trivia about aliens or alien-adjacent things. We have what could an IMDb TV? I give you a synopsis of a TV show from IMDb. You have to tell me what show it's wrapping up there. We have the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a whole bunch of MCU questions. Then the Stop Lying category. It ends today.
Oh,
For
what?
better or worse, it ends today.
You're lying.
I'm not lying.
Oh.
And the Chiefs will be lying tonight against Detroit. So some questions about some Lion stuff. And then we always have some spelling bee options to break glass in case of emergency.
There's a lot of words out there.
But I that's right. There's a lot of words, and there's a lot of different ways you can spell them. So we have that there as well. But I'd love for people to help us polish off the unidentified flying trivia and the stop lying categories today first.
Okay. 913-381-810. Those are the categories. I am ready to go. Josh, what about you?
I am extremely ready to go.
Wow.
Dylan, I think this is your first sports or leisure on remote, Dylan. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. I'm just there's my level that you guys have set of the enthusiasm there.
Slowly breaking him. That's right. He's like a wild stallion that we are eventually going to domesticate. He was way too excited about sports or leisure 2 weeks ago. Let's do it. Who are you? Who is this person? 2 weeks later.
Took this wild stallion and put him in a shoebox.
I have been broken.
Just turning him into a little Danny Clinkscale. That's it. Just a. I mean, I guess if I have to, is it part of my job? Fine.
Not your strongest impression, actually. You're really good at impressions, and a lot of people have a good Danny impression. And I'll be honest, I think you got something to work on there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I've only been trying it for 20 years, so I'll get there.
A little raspier, a little lower. I think you got to bring him down.
Not going to do it.
Okay. Me neither.
All right, 913-381-0810. We start with Craig leading us off here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Craig, what side do you want to start with, the Leisure or the Chiefs?
You're not going to believe this. My boss is calling me right now.
You're already using your
I
phone.
knew I wasn't going to win anyways, and I have to take that. I can't believe this. I've been on hold for 5 minutes. And sorry, guys.
Call Dylan
I'll
back.
try back.
Call Dylan back later.
Call Dylan back because I want to know what this conversation is. What is so important that you're willing to sacrifice $25? Is your boss going to give you $25 for Johnny's Tavern?
It's a great question. Maybe he works at Johnny's Tavern.
No.
He's like, hey, just so you know, you can't win gift cards.
My boss is calling me, telling me that if you're first up, you cannot win again.
My boss, Johnny Tavern, is calling.
Boss, Johnny. The whole tavern. 913-381-0810. John is up next.
Oh, no, John, do you ever go by Johnny?
Johnny, you can head to your tavern.
Sure.
Okay, very good. What side do you want to start with, sports or leisure?
Let's go with the sports side on the training camp heroes.
All right, training camp stars?
Yes, sir.
All right. Man, I really want to ask the Bobby Scipio question. That would be so great.
Can't do it. Not first. You can't open with it.
I know. An undrafted free agent running back out of an MIAA school. He won the Harlan Hill Trophy and went on to win the hearts of Chiefs fans. But it wasn't to be, as he spent 5 weeks on the practice squad before moving to the Canadian Football League. Played in the MIAA. He was running back. I don't know if I said that. Yeah, I did, free agent running back.
You did.
Harlan Hill Trophy winner. 5 weeks on the practice squad, but he was a fun name for a while for Chiefs fans. It's not Jesse Haynes, because who also went to an MIAA school. Wonder if I don't know if the school would even help. I feel like, if you know it, you know it. That maybe the school may not matter, but.
The CFL feels like a big hint that I had. It helped me narrow it down, but I don't immediately know this one.
Yeah, he went to Emporia State.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Gotcha. I was still hoping for it was Eddie Kennison that Bobby Scipio bought pancakes for, but that's okay. I'm gonna bow out.
All right, John, I appreciate it, man. 913-381-0810. You can welcome people to your tavern if they do win. So you've got that going for you. I don't even know if he was eligible to win.
I think anyone named John Johns can win. Johnny's cannot. But you always win at Johnny's. So
that's right. Let's bring in Avery to the conversation. 913-381-0810. Avery, do you want to start with Josh or do you want Chiefs?
I'll do the Lion category.
That's you.
Leo is a zodiac sign associated with a lion, and it covers a range of dates that cross over into 2 months. Name either of the 2 months that the Leo sign is in.
July.
That's correct. I don't know bleep about zodiac stuff, so I had no idea if anybody else would. I felt like that was a challenge.
Avery does.
Do you know that? Are you a you know zodiac stuff?
I mean, I know that I'm a Cancer. I'm a crab.
Okay. So that's yours, though.
Yeah.
You're a Cancer.
Right.
I've said that often.
Yep.
And a crab. Yeah, okay. That's perfect.
Hard shell on the outside.
Yeah.
Soft, emotional on the inside.
That's right. And 8 legs. 6 legs.
Only 3.
How many legs?
Avery,
Whoa!
onto the sports side. Do you want Chiefs training camp stars?
I'm leaving.
Go UDFA yourself or Chiefs openers? Yeah, Josh. Go UDFA yourself.
You had a generic NFL question?
I do have one generic NFL question. Yeah, if
I'll
that's what
try
you
that.
want. All right, Baker Mayfield was named the starter for Week 1 for Tampa. It would mean 3 straight years he would start for a different franchise in Week 1. Can you name any of the other 5 quarterbacks to start Week 1 for 3 different teams in 3 consecutive years?
I think I might be able to use my disputed phrase today. That'll be fun. But I'm going to try Fran Petro's favorite quarterback ever, Jeff George.
You know what? Jeff George did not do it.
Didn't do it. Wow.
Jeff George did not do it. Avery, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it. 913-381-0810. My hint for that would be one of the quarterbacks I thought he was going to get when he said might be Soren's favorite quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought he was, and it's not Patrick Mahomes, by the way. But yeah, I thought he was going to get that right when he said he started off with that. All right, 913-381-0810. Dylan, who is up next? Matthew.
Sounded like Matthew.
I think it was Matthew.
Got a little burp back here.
Matthew, you are next up. Matthew, sports or leisure? What side do you want to start with?
We will go sports.
All right, we got Chiefs training camp stars. Go UDFA yourself. Chiefs openers, and then that general NFL question that's out there.
Chiefs openers.
Chiefs openers for you. All right, let's just go with this one. Which opponent has the Chiefs opened up the season with the most times? I'll give you a hint. It's not the Lions. And it's actually twice as many as the next team. They have opened the season the most times with this particular team, which is twice as many as the next team. So there's been a lot of openers with this team.
I'll go with the Chargers.
Yeah, nice job. The Chargers. Sweet. 9 times.
9 times.
9 times. The Broncos 4. The Raiders 3. Patriots, Texans, Bills, and Bengals all 3. But the Chargers 9 times.
9 times.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think this is just the second time for the Lions, maybe? Not sure. Over to leisure with Josh.
We got Aliens, TV, the MCU, Lions. What do you like?
IMDb.
Let's see what's on IMDb TV today. How about this drama about one of New York's most prestigious ad agencies at the beginning of the 1960s, focusing on one of the firm's most mysterious but extremely talented ad executives? Don't start giving hints yet. Too many good hints. Mad Men.
Nice job.
That's what we're looking for. I was gonna say Drake is furious. Drake is a furious fella over here during this question. That's a winner, right?
I think so. Hell yeah.
Yep, that's winner. I was doing a thing.
You're doing a thing. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Jason's doing a thing.
Matthew, we will put you on hold, get your information. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
There you go. Well done. Well done. 913-381-0810. Dylan, who is up next, sir?
Dylan's got to get his information.
This is where
you can't do this to Dylan. It's okay. Dylan, don't even worry about it. I gave Dylan a little pep talk this morning.
You did?
I did. Oh, you're good?
Yeah, he's actually annoyed at the fact that you wouldn't let him talk.
Whoa, sorry, Dylan.
So, who's ready? I'm sorry. Sean.
John?
Sean.
Shawnee's Tavern or
Sean John.
Sean John's with us.
Sean, sports or leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Is Sean in the building?
Yeah. Sean, are you in this building? Because we're at Interest right now.
Yeah,
we
we
got
got
you,
you,
man. I wish you were in the building here at Interest. That'd be awesome, Sean. You could do it live here, sports or leisure.
Well, I went to the one out in Olathe that had a very tasty burger.
Nice.
All right. Well, it feels like you picked Nate over us, but you had the experience. That's what really matters.
Was that Hawaiian joint? It is a tasty burger. Sean, what side do you want to start with, Bud? Sports or Josh?
I want to start with sports, but I also I got a prediction I kind of want to make.
Go ahead.
I believe that the Chiefs are going to lose to the Lions tonight, and that we're going to hear about Chris Jones signing tomorrow to distract us from the loss.
I'm good with the second part. First part, not okay with.
Would I accept that trade-off if offered?
Nah.
If it's like a long-term deal at the Chiefs' current terms, I might actually make that trade.
Nah, because if the Chiefs win tonight, they prove that they can win without Chris Jones out there in some way, shape, or form.
And we'll do this for 7 more weeks, and
everyone
will have a blast.
Yes, for every win the Chiefs have without Chris Jones, they lower the yearly annual average value by $1 million.
Let's just do that. Formalize that. Just say, all right, guys, every loss I sit out, you move it up $1 million per year. Every win I sit out, it drops $1 million per year.
Yeah, until somebody gets to their whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you want to start with Josh, or do you want to start with sports? I think
I'll start with sports. I think I know Soren's favorite quarterback. You guys were.
Yeah, so let me ask that question again so people can hear it. Baker Mayfield named the starter for Week 1 against for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 3 straight years, he is the starting quarterback for 3 different franchises. He's the 6th quarterback to do that. Name any of the other 5 to have 3 consecutive years starting Week 1 for 3 different teams.
I believe it was Brett Favre. It's one of them.
Brett Favre is one of them.
I'm so mad I didn't think of that.
But that wasn't the hint that I gave with the Surratt's favorite quarterback. Yeah, that's a good point. We don't want to get sued by
I
Brett
did
Favre.
not know. I did not know his favorite quarterback. Maybe it was.
No, it was
McNabb.
Donovan McNabb was one of them. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So the other 3, so you got Baker Mayfield this year, Brett Favre and Donovan McNabb. The other 3, Carson Wentz, Kurt Warner, and Jim Harbaugh.
Who was the third? I feel like an idiot. Who was the third team Donovan McNabb played for? After Washington, right?
Well, I mean, look it up.
Okay, okay, sorry. I didn't
only
mean
there
to,
was some device that we could use.
I thought you were going to be able to take a windmill dunk over me.
Minnesota.
Holy bleep, man! I forgot about Donovan McNabb in Minnesota.
Philadelphia, Washington, Minnesota. Last 3 years of his career.
He only played 6 games that year, but I
That's
guess
right.
he started Week 1.
Week
Holy
1.
cow, man!
Week 1, he was there for Week 1. All right, leisure with Josh.
Yeah, which Minnesota Vikings quarterback do you want me to ask you a leisure question about? No, what category? What category would you like? We've got the Aliens, the TV, the MCU, and the Lions.
Let's do the Lions.
All right, you're going to close out our Lion category here on the day of opening night. This lion, who is described as above all high kings in Narnia, was an answer for a different sports or leisure question a while ago, so I hope you kept that info somewhere near your witch in your wardrobe. Specifically need the name of the lion.
You said Narnia?
Mm-hmm. Narnia, witches, wardrobes. Need the name of the lion. Who ironically, I think, was really big on telling the truth.
I really didn't know this, but I think I have the answer. Aslan?
I wonder how that happened.
Pronounced just close enough to go ahead and count it for an answer you may not have known a minute ago. Aslan is what we're looking for, and that's it. No more lion. The category is closed.
Telling the truth on that one. That is a winner. Congratulations, Sean. We'll put you on hold. Get your information about that. Nice job. 913. Yes, sir. 913-381-810 is the phone number. 913-381-810. Who is up next, Dylan? I know you're getting his information, but I'm juggling a lot of things here.
I can only talk to one person at a time. I can't do 13 things at once.
Sure. So I can't even tell you guys that Brian is next up. Brian, next up on Sports Radio 810 WHB, a little sports or leisure. Brian, what side do you want to start with?
Let's start with sports.
All right, we've got the Chiefs training camp stars. Got a question out there. Also a couple of one fresh one. Then we've got Go UDFA yourself, Chiefs openers, and then we have a college football general question since that NFL general question was answered. But anyway, what are you thinking?
Let's try the Chiefs openers. Let's do Chiefs.
Chiefs openers for you. I actually think I might have asked this one in May when I brought this category out, but I'm going to ask it anyway, just in case. Who are the 2 non-running backs for the Chiefs to have more than 2 touchdowns in a season-opening game? The 2 non-running backs to have more than 2 touchdowns in a season-opening game. That means 3 or more. I'm not going to
Mahomes, post Mahomes, or pre-Mahomes?
I mean, it's I would say when you're talking about non-running backs to have 3 or more touchdowns, it's probably with somebody who's pretty good throwing the football.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to go Kelsey. I don't know if that's correct. I'm gonna stick with Kelsey.
Well, it sounds like you're playing sports or leisure.
That's right. What do you say?
I said Kelce.
It is not Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce has not done that on an opening night, except for tonight. Tonight will be the first time.
Yeah.
Brian, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it. I think you probably at least helped somebody along in eliminating Kelce.
Certainly.
There.
That's the right first guess if you don't have it in your head.
That's right. So there are two guys out there that have done that. Brian, appreciate it, man. Enjoy the game tonight. Appreciate you playing. 913-381-0810. Let's get one more in before we take a break. Who is next, Dylan? Doug is next up. I'll be your Doug. 913-381-0810. What side do you want to start with, Doug?
Let's go MCU.
Let's go to the MCU. What is the name of the underwater kingdom in Black Panther Wakanda Forever?
Atlantis?
Say that again. If you asked it clear, I didn't hear what you said there. I
think you said Atlantis.
Oh, Atlantis?
Oh,
Name
if you
one?
said Atlantis, that is incorrect. It's not Atlantis. And it wasn't close enough to where we were going for me to feel like I needed to try to bring you along. So I appreciate it when anyone takes a shot at the MCU category as we continue to chip away at it. But
Doug, thank you for playing, man. I appreciate it. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. We're hanging out at Intrust Bank. One more segment of Sports or Leisure. We'll get into breaking down the game and our thoughts on what happens tonight, predictions, everything like that. 913-381-0810. We got Chiefs training camp stars, undrafted players for Chiefs that became household names. We got some Chiefs opener questions as well. We'll take a timeout hanging out at Intrust Bank in Prairie Village. More Zone right after this.
You're in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, we'll continue right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. We're hanging out at Intrust Bank in Prairie Village. Jason Anderson, Josh Briscoe, Dylan Michaels. We continue our 37-hour pregame coverage brought to you by Quad Power Products, Bob Allen Ford, and the University of Kansas Health System. One more quick segment of Sports or Leisure, then we'll get into breaking down the game a little bit more. We do have some news out there that the Chiefs have elevated Matt Bushman from the practice squad as insurance. So if Kelsey plays tonight, then expect Matt Bushman to be inactive. If Kelsey is inactive, then you wouldn't elevate him for insurance if he was not going to be active if Kelsey isn't. So then Matt Bushman would be active tonight. So it looks like the Chiefs are going to go 3 tight ends even if Kelsey does not play. And we'll see if that impacts how many wide receivers they go. If they go with 7 wide receivers or 6, if they're going to have 3 active tight ends. We will find out.
You want to make sure you have the personnel to do the position groupings
right.
that you want to have. You're going to have 3 active tight ends this way. It'll just either be Kelsey or Bushman up. And then things will be very different because they are still 2 very different football players. You're welcome.
So about 5:50, we will find out if Travis Kelsey we'll find out officially if he is active or not. We may hear before that if he is active or not. All right, 913-3810810. One more segment. We start off with, I believe you said Brian. If you didn't, I apologize. And I can. All right, Brian. Brian leads us off this segment for a little Sports or Leisure. Brian, what side do you want to start with?
Is the question about the Emporia running back still up?
It is undrafted free agent running back out of an MIAA school, which we said was Emporia. He won the Harlan Hill Trophy, went on to win the hearts of Chiefs fans, but it wasn't to be as he spent 5 weeks on the practice squad before moving to the Canadian Football League as a training camp star. Who is it?
That would be Brian Shea.
Brian Shea is correct. Harlan Hill winning Brian Shea.
Didn't he have the most yards in NCAA history before Ricky Williams beat him, I think? I can't remember. Something like that.
He may have. I'll look it up and see if that was the case. I know he had a record at some point. So yeah, he may have had that record. Leisure with Josh. I'll look that up.
Our categories here, we got one Marvel Cinematic Universe question out there. We have unidentified flying trivia, and then what could it IMDb TV? What do you like?
I'm going to take the Marvel Cinematic Universe question, but I may butcher this name. Is it Talican?
That's how it's spelled, so we're going to say that's how it's pronounced.
Sure.
Very good. That's a winner right there.
Sounds good to us.
Ding, ding. I'm guessing Dylan's on the phone. But you're a winner. Congratulations, and enjoy $25 at Johnny's Tavern. There we go.
Nice job, Brian. 913-3810810 is the phone number. Playing a little Sports or Leisure for a few more minutes. Who is up next? Dylan. Charles is up next on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Charles, Sports or Leisure, what side do you want to start with?
Let's do, let's do some sports. Do the college football.
All right, the college football one. Will Howard had a passing touchdown, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown versus Southeast Missouri State last weekend. He is the 6th player in Big 12 history to do that in a game. Just tell me who the most recent was. Who the most recent quarterback to have a passing, rushing, and receiving touchdown in a Big 12 game before Will Howard did that.
Oh, boy. Passing, receiving, and rush.
Mm-hmm. Passing, receiving, and rushing.
And they're in the Big 12, or they were?
Well, they were for a short period of time. There's an argument between conferences as to who gets to claim this guy. Because, he's a really awesome quarterback in the NFL right now.
Big 12 quarterback in the NFL.
I missed the original question. I know the answer now.
Said Will Howard had a passing, a rushing, and a receiving touchdown against Southeast Missouri State over the weekend. Okay. Who's the most recent Big 12 player to do that?
Most recent's kind of surprising if I'm on the right track, which I think I am.
Yeah.
Big 12.
Big 12 quarterback. Another conference claims him as well. They claimed that in a pretty big game that was most recently played in the NFL.
All I can think of is a certain Oklahoma quarterback.
There is an Oklahoma connection. That would be the Big 12 part of it.
I would say name before the buzzer.
Just
How are you?
name a Big 12. Name an
Baker
Oklahoma
Mayfield.
No, it is not.
Oh.
It is not Baker Mayfield.
No.
Damn it.
No.
Thank you for playing, Charles. I appreciate it, sir. 913-381-0810 is the phone number.
You scrolled it off?
I scrolled it off, but it's there. It's still
No,
there.
I just wanted to check my work
Yes,
and make
absolutely.
sure that I was on the right track.
Matt is up next. He may be wrapping us up here as the final contestant on Sports or Leisure today. It's an abbreviated Sports or Leisure because we'll get back into the Chiefs game. But it's Johnny's Tavern, $25 on the line to Johnny's Tavern. Matt, what side do you want to start with, Sports or Leisure?
I will try that question you just had.
Yeah, who's that quarterback?
Would it be Jalen Hurts?
It is Jalen Hurts. That is correct. The SEC and Big 12 battling it out who he belongs to as which quarterback. Where's he from? Both. On to the leisure side with Josh.
What category would you like?
Let's go IMDb, please.
All right. A woman who moves into an apartment across the hall from two brilliant but socially awkward physicists shows them how little they know about life outside the laboratory.
That is, I can picture it, and I'm drawing a blank on the name.
That's okay. It's the Big Bang Theory. That's a big dub for you right there.
Big bang right there.
Boom.
Bang for Matt. Bang. Nice job, Matt. We'll put you on. We'll put you on hold. Get your information. Congratulations, sir. 913-381-0810. Let's go ahead and take a timeout. We will come back. Did we get any questions out there that we did not get answers to?
I think the ones that I left out there got swept up.
Oh, there is one question that I had that was a season opening question that we did not get an answer to of who are the two non-running backs
Oh, yeah.
to have more than 2 touchdowns in a season opening game for the Chiefs.
And we've eliminated Travis Kelce.
We have. Not for tonight's game. Don't if you're
Yeah,
just tuning
yeah,
in.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
not for tonight's game. But Travis Kelce is not an answer. But we pretty much said it's during the Mahomes era. So, there's only a couple of other players that kind of come to mind at that point.
Tyreek Hill do it?
Tyreek Hill did it in 2018 versus the Chargers because he had a punt return touchdown as well.
Ooh, clever. And there's one more.
One more
who isn't Tyreek Hill. Did Sammy Watkins do it?
Yes, in the game against the Jags when Tyreek Hill broke his collarbone.
The Jags game. That was the first game of the year.
touchdowns.
I was thinking that being week 2 for some reason.
3 touchdowns in that
Just
game.
this year.
So Tyreek Hill and Jackson Heights Sammy Watkins. That is $25 to Johnny's Tavern. We were giving away for a little sports or leisure. We're hanging out at Intrust Bank. We'll take a timeout. We'll come back. One more segment left. We will get into the game, talk about the matchups, the particulars, the ins and outs, the highs and lows, the lefts and rights, all of that stuff. We do that coming up next here in the Zone on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
You're in the zone with Jason Anderson on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
o'clock. 37-hour pregame coverage continues right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Started yesterday at 6 o'clock in the morning. How about that? It's presented by Quad Power Products, Bob Allen Ford, and the University of Kansas Health System. Coming up later on today at 5 o'clock, it is the Central Bank of the Midwest pregame show, starting at 5 o'clock with Soren Petro, Curtis Seabolt, Mark Boerichter, Adam Dravetta. And then directly after the Chiefs game is over, it is the Sports Radio 810 postgame show hosted by Josh.
I'll be there.
Somebody named Josh.
I'll be in that chair, be watching this game, be talking about it for a while afterwards.
That's right.
Go to bed listening to us.
You want him on that wall. You need him on that wall.
Let me put you to sleep.
In that chair, whatever it is. Hopefully there's a reason to tune in tonight. Hopefully it's, you know what, I'm tuning in, and I'm willing to stay up late to listen into what Josh has to say and what's going to be there at the podium, as opposed to, well, bleep it, I'm just going to go to bed now, if you can. I don't know. Chiefs still 4.5-point favorites as of 1:46 and 15 seconds. The total is still sitting at 53.5. So 4.5-point favorites and 53.5. I'm going with a lot of other people in that I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I mean, I'd mentioned it earlier that 5 times that Patrick Mahomes in week number 1, and 5 times they've gone over. The over is hit all 5 times. So I think the over is going to happen. I don't know if Kelsey's going to play or not, but I think as long as Patrick Mahomes is out there, and, man, I'm really curious to see what that offensive line looks, because they have kept him upright and clean all preseason. Doesn't mean that's going to happen in this game against the Lions, but they've done a pretty damn good job to the point that he actually tongue-in-cheek complained about not getting hit. You want to get hit and get a good enough hit to sort of get you in the season, but not hit hard enough to where it affects you. And he got nothing. The only time he was touched is when he was jumping out of bounds to throw a football. So if they continue that, then if Kelsey's out there or not, Mahomes is going to find open receivers down the field in rhythm, whatever it might be. That's going to happen. So I think that the over is hitting tonight, and I've got it like 37-24. I think the Lions are going to score, but I think the Chiefs are going to have somewhat of a comfortable victory, however they get there. I don't think it'll come down to the final possession where the Chiefs will have the ball and have to score, or the Lions will have the ball and have to score, and they stop them. But we'll see. But I think there's going to be points. I've got 37-24, Chiefs winning by 13, and the over hitting. I've also got Mahomes with 3 or more touchdown passes tonight. 12 of the 16 games he has played in the month of September, he's had 3 or more touchdown passes. He comes out of the gates blazing, and that'll happen tonight. Josh?
I agree with that part. I came with you on the over 2.5 passing touchdowns for Mahomes, and I that was pre-Kelsey injury, right? But I still think that happens. I find myself very conflicted on specifically getting caught up by the new spread of 4.5, because the final score that I keep seeing is 31-27. Now, Jason, you're better at math than I am. That's about
3.75.
I think that's about 4 points apart, which would mean that, hey, Vegas and the books do it again.
I don't believe you. I'm going to get my calculator.
Feel free to check my work. I'm always willing to have my math checked. But
it's Common Core. It'll take me an hour.
It'll take you an hour. Here, I have an entire legal pad. You can absolutely tear to bits.
Thank you.
But
you're right. It was 4. Wow.
I have been proven right and have felt good about it in the week 1, take the Chiefs, bleep the points kind of mentality. I think there is something to that. I think with Travis Kelce, I would have before the show today felt very, very good about the Chiefs, bleep the points. But right now, without Kelce, we've seen this offense do the Chiefs' version of struggling, which is different than other NFL offenses struggling, right? So I don't mean to be hyperbolic.
Labor to get to 31 points.
But, some of those weird AFC South games, you're like, well, why doesn't the offense look quite right? And the thing that's always there is you always have Travis Kelce for 8 yards to move the chains and to get a fresh set of downs. Like, it's not literally automatic, but, man, it feels like it. Yeah. And without that tonight, which is kind of where I'm leaning in expectations ever so slightly, I just think it's going to be a little more difficult to do some of the things this offense does really well. I still think they're going to score 30. I still think that the over is the right play. I'm also really worried about the Chiefs' defense without Chris Jones. Not that they'll be so bad that they don't give the Chiefs a chance. They'll have a turnover. They'll force a punt. They'll force a turnover on down somewhere in a big moment. We go, okay, the defense has done enough. It's still a relatively good unit. but that top 10 unit potential is not there without Chris Jones, and the offense is just going to be a harder job to finish without Travis Kelce out there. So I feel pretty confident that the Chiefs win, but I feel a lot less confident about the margin than I would have, obviously. Good analysis by me, with 2 of their 3 best players being active.
I feel better about them winning by more if Jones and Kelce were active and healthy, but
you're welcome. I'm a post-game guy, not a pre-game guy, so you tune in for my good analysis later.
So you're going with 31-27?
I'm going 31-27.
31-27, got you down. Dylan, where are you at, besides at the studio?
I am also doing the over, but I'm thinking it's going to be a little closer game, a field goal affair. It's going to be 33-30. High scoring, and also it's going to be Lions covering because I got them at 6 points upon the Kelce news, and then I win either way. If the Chiefs win and blow them out, then I'm happy, and if the Lions cover, then I also get paid.
Yeah,
so that is
Unless,
my
of
bet.
course, the Lions win, then you are not happy.
Well,
even if you get paid.
That is true.
It softens
It
it
softens
a
it.
little
Yeah,
bit.
it does. A little bit.
The way that Dylan bets, it softens the blow, man.
Yes.
My strategy for tonight at DraftKings was, they've got the your team gets up 7 on the money line, you automatically win. I placed money on the Lions
I did the same.
at plus 245. If they get up 7, they win, because my thought process is we know if the Chiefs win the toss, they are deferring. The Lions are going to get the ball first. And I think if the Lions win the toss, they want to put the offense out there and go score rather than have Patrick Mahomes get the ball and maybe be down 7-0 when their offense gets out there. They want to go out there and without Chris Jones say, you know what, Lions, we're here, and go out and if they get the ball first, then hey, we'll have questions about the defense. And if they go down there and score at 7-0, Chiefs can still go on, score, cover the spread or whatever. So that's the way that I'm playing it, just specifically from that the standpoint as DraftKings. But yeah, I've gone back and forth on this, and I actually thought the line should have been around 4.5 or so, and instead of 6.5. And I say that and then pick the Chiefs by 13.
Yeah,
which is I know talking out of both sides of my mouth and hypocritical. But when Travis Kelce, got hurt and the line dropped 2 points, I thought that was an overreaction to Kelce. So I went ahead and said, you know what, if I'm feeling more confident, and the Chiefs just do not lose week 1.
I obviously my margin of victory there is 4 points, but if you said here's $10, you've got to put it on the spread, I think I would take the Chiefs minus the 4.5 still, but I can't. It's really hedging on what I expect both sides of the ball to look like, and it just being so unknown.
Although the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes in Week 1, they are 4-1 against the spread, and the only time they did not cover the spread, they were 4.5-point favorites, and they won by 4.
Wow, I didn't think about that.
I just thought about that because that was the Browns. They won 33-29 in that game, and they were down 15-3. So the only time they did not cover in Week 1, they were trailing by 12 points in the second quarter, and then trailed 22-10 at halftime. So trailing by 12 points to start the third quarter, and they outscored them by 16 in the second half to just barely not cover the spread. So when they haven't covered, they've fallen behind early in the game. So if the Chiefs come out and have control of the game, I think the 4.5 might be safe. If the Lions jump out to a 7-0 or 10-0 or 15-3 lead, then yeah, I think there's going to be some nervous people around Arrowhead, because if they put 15 points on the board and Chiefs have only put 3 on the board, at least against the Browns, Chiefs defensive players all still in that game and playing, including one Chris Jones,
right,
etc.
It's just like this is such a fundamentally different team than the one we saw play in February, and that's true every offseason because of the additions and the departures and the draft picks and all of that. But we haven't seen. Here's what the Chiefs look like in this world that we've discussed before about what happens when Travis Kelce retires, what happens in life after Chris Jones, however that comes around. But we're actually going to see it tonight. And for all of the jockeying we've done throughout all of this and figuring out what matters and what doesn't, that's something I'm genuinely excited for tonight as well, to see what Mahomes looks like with one arm tied behind his back potentially, and then also what does this roster look like with merely the greatest football player currently living, maybe ever to live, and then a bunch of fine players around him, but no superstars because the 2 co-superstars aren't going to be there. Potentially. Not officially
Right.
yet for Kelsey.
Yeah.
But
So the updates for today is the big storylines that have been going on throughout the offseason. Last couple of days, Chris Jones will be at the game tonight, expected to be in a suite, will not be on the field. There's no indication of what that may mean in terms of his contract, but he will be at the game tonight. And Travis Kelce has been going through warm-ups, or at least, shouldn't say warm-ups, but workouts, and they have activated, or elevated, I should say, Matt Bushman from the practice squad as insurance for Travis Kelce. So we shall see. I've got him 37-24. Briscoe's got him 31-24. And Dylan has him 33-30. Thank you to the folks here at Intrust. Continue to listen to the 37-hour pregame brought to you by Quad Power Products, Bob Allen Ford, and the University of Kansas Health System. The program comes up next right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
At the Alzheimer's Association Walk to End All Alzheimer's, walking means so much more. It means fighting for a different future, for families facing the disease today, for treatments. Because when you take part in a Walk to End Alzheimer's, you're not just walking, you're fighting to stop the disease. We're closer than ever, but to get there, we need you. Join us for the world's largest fundraiser to fight the disease. Register today at alzwalkkc.org. That's